Это вот просто.
Well, this is just.
Да, я
Yes,
чувствую.
I feel it.
Это вот
This
просто.
is just.
Что
What
ты
you
чувствовал?
felt,
Сможешь
can
передать?
you express it?
Интересно, интересно. Я до последнего был уверен, на самом деле, что не получится. Ам,
This is
но в
interesting.
какой-то момент,
I
ну
was
не
sure
знаю, я
to the
думал,
last that
просто
it wouldn't work
на
out.
уровне статики. Здесь
Up to
небольшое
a certain
напряжение
moment,
в этой части
I felt a slight physical
руки.
tension in this
Вот.
part of my hand.
Потом мне показалось, что я чувствую
Then
легкий
I felt a
холодок,
gentle, cool breeze blowing from above
идущий
onto my
сверху
palm.
на ладонь. А потом, когда Дмитрий начал пальцем
Then,
вот
when
так
Dmitry
по
began to
кругу ладони
rotate his
вращать,
finger near my
я
palm, I
почувствовал
felt this
вот это
rotation.
самое вращение на уровне уже тела. Вот, ну, то есть это было,
It was
это
there.
было. Вот у меня было поставлено две руки, на левой я не чувствовал, на правой я чувствовал,
I
что
had
мне
both
гладит
my
ладонь.
hands there. My left hand felt nothing, but my right hand felt as if someone was
Это супер,
stroking my
это
palm.
первое подтверждение
Unbelievable. That's
практик,
super. This is the first
которые я получил на
confirmation of
уровне
the
физики.
practices
Вот
that
был
I
человек,
got
который показал, что
sensually
это
from
действительно так, это
another
действительно
person who
работает.
showed me that it really works
Честно, конечно,
honestly. This means
это
really
значит для
much
меня
to
очень много.
me.
И еще раз
Thank you
спасибо
very
большое.
much again.
Да. И вот подобная
You are
энергия
welcome. So
начинает
such
с центра
energy starts
тела
flowing from the
расплываться,
center of the
поддерживать,
body,
питать физическое тело.
sustaining and
И вот
nourishing
работа над
physical
собой
body,
и
and
наносится
if you
более
work with it,
низковибрационной.
the energy
И в этот
becomes
момент вы
high
научите приобретать
vibrational,
вкус,
and in that
очень
moment
сладкий.
it
И эта
develops
сладкость
a
начинает
very sweet
расходиться по телу.
flavor,
Мой
and
живот,
this
плечи,
sweetness
удобно.
starts flowing
Ну,
through
это
the body
действительно
and
очень
sustaining it.
питательно.
Всем
Hello
привет.
everyone. Good.
Да, отлично.
Let
Отлично.
begin.
Сейчас начнем.
I.e.
Только
just
буквально
flown in.
приехал. Возможно,
I believe it
это будет
going to be my
онлайн
last
конференция.
online conference
Очередной
before
собственный
my
retreat,
own retreat, which will take
который будет
place for
проходить
some time out of the
определенное
society.
время вне социума. Я
I
стараюсь
want to
давать
give
ученым
those in search
возможность
an
получать
opportunity for
знания,
obtaining their own
которые
knowledge, and then
обязательно
speculate
требуются
on the
этому ученому.
topic.
Но логические знания
Logical
тоже
knowledge are also
необходимы,
necessary,
так
but
как
wrong theory
неправильная
leads
теория
to wrong
неправильная
practice.
практика. За эти 3 дня я дам
During these 3 days, I will be
информацию
giving you
своей
the
сути,
information about my
которую
essence, which
познавал
I have been
непосредственно только
perceiving
именно.
not only in this
Сегодняшняя наша
incarnation.
тематика это будет
Our today topic is
гармонии
called the
развития,
core of the
гармонии здоровья.
harmony of an integral development
Я
is a
рекомендую
fundamental basis, and I recommend you
сначала
first to
послушать,
listen
а
without
не так
questioning.
параллельно придумывать вопросы, а уже потом в конце у нас будет
In the
направление,
end, you will have the time for it,
это
for
время,
communicating and discussing how to avoid illnesses, how
чтобы
nutrition
участвовать.
influences
Это
one
суть
development, and vice
всего
versa.
дальнейшего
We will involve only the
здоровья болезни,
physical matters.
взаимодействия питания на развитие и наоборот, как развитие влияет на питание. Только затрагивать физическую сторону.
The true reason of almost all illnesses is a continuing poisoning of the body by bad and unhealthy food, due to which the organism leaves the alkaline condition of youth and high level of energy and goes over to unhealthy low vibrational acid condition. Alkaline condition is healthy and pure, and if our bodies is in a pure environment, we get sick less, we are better morally and ethically. And if we pollute our bodies, it goes over with time to the acid condition, which is friendly to all sorts of malignant bacteria, viruses and parasites. Almost any disease means germs attacking our physical body, but the germs do not attack on their own. Our food can accelerate the process if the body is going over to the acid condition, which is suitable for those viruses and bacteria. It is exactly our food and the acid condition that accelerate the germs attack on our body's cells.
Именно пища и кислотная среда является катализатором атаки микробов клеток нашего тела. Мы постоянно
We
стремимся
continuously aspire
духовного
spiritual
самосовершенствования,
self-improvement. We
развиваемся
develop, and
и в
at
то
the
же время
same time
параллельно
we are
чувствуем тело,
acidify the
загрязняем
body,
его.
pollute
На
it.
это, причем
And
тратим
we are
колоссальные
spending
ресурсы.
titanic
Мы
amounts of
потом
energy, and
развиваемся,
we are
затем
not going to gain
быстро
much this way.
развиваемся, расширяем сознание, либо копим энергию, и в то же время большой потенциал его тратим на процесс
We
пищеварения.
evolve more,
И наше
expand our
развитие
consciousness, or
складывается
save
примерно
our
таким образом,
energy,
что мы
and
делаем
at the
усилия
same
на
time we
2 шага,
spend a
и шаг
huge
назад
potential
на
on digestion.
2 шага вперед,
And
1
we
назад,
advance
2
and
вперед, 1
evolve
назад.
2
И
steps
вот такими
forward
вот
and 1
медленными
step
шагами
back
мы
from food
развиваемся.
abuse.
Но, к сожалению, большинство
2
людей
steps forward, 1
делают,
step
наоборот,
back.
2 шага назад, 1
By
вперед,
such slow
и так
steps we
далее.
do
То есть
evolve.
мы должны строго
But,
оценивать любые мысли, которые
unfortunately,
впускаем в свое
many
тело,
people
особенно
do the opposite,
И
2
если,
steps back,
как вы знаете,
1
посмотреть
step
наше тело
forward,
под микроскоп,
and
мы
so
сначала
on.
видим
So
молекулы,
we
пытаемся
must take
заглянуть
care
в
of what
конкретную
kind of
молекулу, мы
energy
увидим
we allow
атомы,
into our
еще глубже
bodies,
заглянем, мы увидим частицы. И вот если заглянуть в недра частиц, то будет определенное
especially
электромагнитное
the
поле,
food. If one looks at our bodies
генерируется
through a
на всех вибрациях.
microscope,
И
he
вот
or
если
she would
посмотреть
see
на эту точку
molecules,
зрения нашего
atoms
питания,
inside them, and elementary
то
particles even
мы
deeper. If we look inside the
влияем, мы
particles,
влияем на
each
все
one
то,
of
что
them has
на
a
все
magnetic
звенья
field vibrating in
нашего
its
тела,
own
это
unique
влияет на
way.
наши собственные вибрации.
Thinking of nutrition, it
Я
means that
обычно
whatever
привожу
we put in our
довольно
stomachs influences
всем
the
известный пример
vibrations of
уже
our
на своих
particles,
занятиях
our own
постоянно.
vibration
Когда
as
кто-то
well.
умирает, вне зависимости кто, человек,
I
старость, либо
usually
собака,
give a
когда
well-known example.
ее
When
собственно
someone
начальник
dies, no
естественно
matter
появился.
who,
А в
an
этот же
old
момент
man or a
начинается
dog hit by a
естественно
car, their cells stop
посылка личного
vibrating
состава.
instantaneously, and at the
Вот.
same moment the cells
Данная
become
кислота
chemically acidic,
является
and this
сигналом,
acid condition is
когда
a
человеческого
signal for the
организма, что данную
universal
суть
body
пора
that it's
разлагать.
time to
И в это
dissolve
дело
this piece
вступают
of
как раз те же
flesh.
самые вирусы, бактерии,
Then all
паразиты.
those
Это
viruses,
их задача
bacteria, and
давать свой
parasites
пример,
start acting. Their
давать свой
task
пример.
is to render the flesh to the mold.
Точно так же и человек.
So when a
Когда
man or a
загрязняет
woman
свое тело,
acidifies his or her body,
вселенский
the
организм
universal
воспринимает его
body
как
perceives
раковую
it as a
клетку в своем
cancer
теле
cell
и
inside its
обычно
body and
без
tries
усилий
to get
регенерации
rid of it.
старается от нее избавиться.
Viruses,
Вирусы,
bacteria,
бактерии,
and
паразиты
parasites
всегда
have always
существовали,
existed,
и будут
exist now, and
существовать,
will
но
exist
никогда не
later.
мешали
They
личности
have never
духовно
prevented those
самосовершенствоваться.
searching from
Именно
spiritual
как раз останки
evolution.
личности
The ones attacked by them are
и
those who
приходят те,
deviate from the
кто становится
harmony
от
of
этой
being and become
гармонии
a cancer
я,
cell of the universal
становится
body.
раковой клеткой космического организма. Мы должны строго
We
оценивать
should be conscious
любые
about the
энергии,
energy and the
состояния,
nutrition
которые
we give
впускаем в
to
свое
our
тело.
bodies. We
Нужно
create
всегда
our own structure.
Как правило, пища, которая
Usually the
наше
food that
тело, это
acidifies our
пережаренная,
bodies is
переваренная,
over-roasted,
любая пища, которая
overboiled
содержит
food,
животный
any
холестерин,
food that
пища,
contains
которая
animal
способствует
cholesterol.
пищеварению.
The nutrition
Это
that encourages
более
alkalization
живая
is
пища.
different.
Многих всегда
It
удивляет,
surprises many of
как так.
us when two people
Два
contact the
человека
same environment,
соприкасаются
and
с
one
одной и той
gets
же
sick, and the other does
территорией,
not.
и одни заболевают,
So
а
why
другие нет.
does this happen?
И вот
The
мы
point
постоянно
is that
так
one
смотрим,
has
что и
an
происходит.
acid condition of
Все дело в
body,
том, что у
and
одного
the other an
кислотная среда, а
alkaline
у другого
one.
щелочная среда тела.
With an
В
acid
кислотной среде
condition,
человек
one
обязательно заболеет,
inevitably gets ill,
тот человек,
and
который
one with
кто
an
находится в
alkaline
щелочной
condition
среде
is
своего тела,
unreachable for
он
those
не достигаем
viruses,
для этих вирусов,
bacteria,
бактерий,
and
паразитов.
parasites.
Так сказать. Есть одна очень
There is an
интересное
interesting
тибетское
Tibetan
высказывание
saying,
в
and
рамках
I like it
ежедневного
really
эксперимента.
much, like food, like
Звучит оно следующим
consciousness,
образом.
like
Какова пища,
consciousness, like
таково и
mind,
сознание.
like
Каково сознание,
mind,
таков
like
вкус,
wish,
каков ум,
like
таково и
wish,
желание,
like
таково
action,
желание, таково и
like
действие,
action, like
таково действие,
fate.
такая и судьба. Вот так сказать,
This is a chain of
почта
influences on a
выстраиваемых
basic
влияний.
level, because when we reach
На
the
начальном
strength and
этапе,
clarity of
повторюсь, на начальном
consciousness,
этапе,
it is
на
exactly
определенном
our
уровне, когда
consciousness
мы
that
достигаем
breaks
силы
this chain.
сознания, силы ясности сознания, то мы можем
Today there are
сознание
many
почти
traditions
образовать.
with their own
На
different
сегодняшний день
structures of perceiving a human
существует множество
being, its
традиций
inner
со
and outer
своей
world.
структурой
So this
видения
is my favorite
человека,
theme.
видения человека,
I
его
have been
внутреннего
exploring a
духовного
large
творчества.
number of various
Скажу
confessions and
свое видение,
traditions. A human being
изучая
in its
множество
entity is a
различных
multi-level,
конфессий и
self-sustaining,
традиций.
self-regulating system,
по всему этому.
absolutely
Человек это, в
self-sufficient,
свою очередь,
and our
на
physical
уровне
body is an
автономная
extension of our
саморегулирующая система,
superconsciousness.
полностью самодостаточная.
And
Я
many
знаю, что тело
confessions divide the
природа лишь
body into
продолжение
many
нашего
levels.
сверхсознания.
One tradition divides
И
it
вот на
into
сегодняшний
7
день
layers,
множество
another
разных
into
конфессий,
9,
структур
another into
делят нашу
10,
структуру тела
another
на
one in
множество уровней.
13.
В одной традиции 7 тел, в какой-то 9,
Some confessions count up to 72,000 of layers. I do not depend on any confession. Today I just like the old Slavic terms and use them to convey what I mean. There are 7 subtle bodies: Yavnoi, Sheri, Navi, Klubi, Kolabi, Divi, Sviti. But whatever the tradition is, into however many bodies it divides a human being, there are 3 basic foundations: spirit, soul, and body. These are the aggregates of all the body structures, from the physical body to the superconsciousness level. All bodies are connected and influence one another. The augmented cognition is based upon the amount of the vital energy. Accumulation of our vital energy depends entirely on our physical body. And the body, in its turn, is supported by the nutrition system that we use. Everything is connected. Sound mind in a sound body. I usually cite the example of my friend Taoist. He developed his etheric body, Jerrier, and he also has exceptional superpower abilities. At the same time, he thinks how he will use his superpowers in everyday life. He consumes unhealthy heat-treated cooked food. What happens in this case? Our 3 fundamentals: consciousness, the subtle bodies, and the physical body disperse in different directions. If we take a holistic approach to self-improvement, we need to simultaneously develop consciousness, the subtle bodies, and the physical body. If we do everything right, our 3 fundamentals develop much faster and it's much easier for us to conquer the top of the mountain, as illustrated in the picture of the mountain climber with a backpack. The most important thing is to develop simultaneously the 3 fundamentals, rather than one, as all influence each other. Unfortunately, in many traditions the development of the physical body is forgotten. A man is a set of frequencies of vibration: the frequency of vibration of consciousness, the frequency of vibration of soul, and the frequency of vibration of body. The combination of these frequencies shows our level of development. For example, a person has reached enlightenment consciousness, but he oxidized his body by consuming heat-treated cooked food. As a result, the levels of the resonance of frequencies of consciousness, soul, and body are reduced down to average. Similarly, when a person has reached a high frequency of vibration of the physical body by prana nutrition, but his consciousness is at low vibrations, then the frequency levels of his overall vibrations are also averaged down. In these examples, both people are located at approximately the same level of development. Our goal is to reach enlightenment at all 3 fundamental levels: consciousness, body, and soul. Each one of us conquers our own mountaintop. For one, the top is a healthy body without disease. For others, it's youth and longevity. For the third, it's the ability of the mind, intellect, and memory. For the fourth, it's the power of prana. And for the fifth, it's enlightenment or the body of light. Diet has a tremendous influence on self-development and the vibration levels. In the picture, this concept is illustrated by depicting food as a backpack. All energies can be divided into levels. The simplest is linear, then the spiral, and then the transcendental. On the physical level, it manifests as the body pH. If the pH level drops below 3.5, then the physical death occurs. If the pH rises above 7.5, then the body is without disease. The pH level between 3.5 and 7.5 is the range where all viruses and bacteria exist. We spend an enormous amount of energy, 80%, on the digestive process.
пищеварения.
10% of energy is used on mental activity, 10% on physical activity. This is what happens when a person is omnivorous and consumes animal and plant foods. Omnivorous people, however, only digest 5% of their total food intake. 95% of their food intake contaminates the body and is excreted out. There are various types of nutrition: omnivorous diet, vegetarianism, raw food diet, fruitarianism, prana nutrition and light nutrition. They can be divided into groups: 1. Omnivorous diet and vegetarianism; 2. Raw food diet and fruitarianism; 3. Prana nutrition and light nutrition. There are also levels higher than prana and light nutrition, however it's too early to discuss them. We spend 80% of the vital energy on omnivorous diet. With the self-development of climbing the mountain, our backpack is becoming smaller and smaller and our nutrition is getting lightened. Prana nutrition is an ideal basis for further development. We can just raise the vibration of the soul, body and the spirit, develop and ascend the mountain with our backpack or light-handed. For me personally, prana nutrition is only the beginning for future energy development. For some it's merely a goal, but that's still a step in a good direction. Continuing on, the first group, omnivorous diet and vegetarianism, is inorganic, heat-treated cooked food. The second group, raw food diet and fruitarianism, is organic food of plant origin. At this level we spend less energy on digestion. The third level is prana nutrition and light nutrition, which is nutrition of live energy. How do they differ from each other? The difference is fundamental and important. On the pH line there are color-specified vibration levels bottom up which manifest on the physical level, and the next scale displays the energy level. The energy level is divided into 1. Linear energy Ci, prana, mana, ether, it is low vibration cold energy. 2. Spiral energy is hot energy, sexual energy, that is the energy of the soul. 3. Transcendental is spiritual energy, fusionable, Shen, Kundalini. Prana nutrition is linear energy nutrition. Light nutrition is the nutrition of transcendental energy. There are various nutrition energy practices. India is one of the external energy sources of prana nutrition. Everything that they call sun eating, energy eating, through breathing practices. These are such practices as by Gushikai, many breathing practices for supporting and sustaining one's body without actual physical nutrition. There is also autonomous nutrition when we open our inner power source and stop using external power sources. Our goal is to understand the essence of the integrated human development system, and this essence is raising the vibration level of mind, spirit, soul and physical body at the same time, which results in raising the vibration on all levels and us conquering the mountaintop at maximum speed. A body without illnesses is a minimum result. We have to raise the pH higher than 7.5%. The lower is the pH of a physical body, the more dangerous viruses, bacteria, parasites we are subjected to. The ideal is to have the diet gradually reconfigure itself, and we do not make any effort in switching to prana eating. This depends on the characteristics of our inner space. There is an estimate time period for renewing physical body's cells. For instance, skin cells are renewed every month, muscle tissue cells are renewed every 6 months, bone matter every 7 years. The same applies to nutrition. Within a certain time period we are reorganized so as to switch from one type of nutrition to another.
заменяются клетки
Ideally, our body restructures itself and goes up to a next level of nutrition in 6 months, but this is not the case for the majority, even for those who eat but raw food for a number of years, but the body fails to restructure itself. Not in a year, neither in 2. This comes from our inner rules and restrictions, from characteristics of the universe of our inner space. Even confining oneself to healthy food, raw food or fruit eating, one can harm oneself significantly. The first rule is water. Human body is 80% water, and many things in the body depend on it. The main thing is to refrain from drinking water while having a meal. One should and must drink half an hour before eating or 1 to 3 hours after a meal. The second rule is to chew thoroughly. There is a saying, "Who chews longer lives longer." We enrich our food with saliva enzymes, so the digestion goes a lot easier. The longer we chew, the faster we feel we have eaten enough. The third rule is mood. We must eat only when we are in good mood. Our mood is the altar on which we put the food. We eat the food, we enjoy it. Sometimes people get frustrated when switching to raw food. One snaps and eats some thermally processed food and then starts blaming oneself. You should not do it. Even if you made a step back, enjoy it as well. If we are having a meal, we should be dedicated to the process. We should not read, or watch TV, or talk while eating. Otherwise we do not live in the moment, as though this moment never existed. We should be attentive to every moment, including the process of consuming food. These rules apply to any level of nutrition. If you follow them, it will be easier for you to rise to a next level. The fourth rule is separate nutrition. The least we can do is to divide proteins from carbohydrates. We ingest not the amount of food eaten, but what we can digest. In case of mixed nutrition, our stomach is like a garbage can. The body digests only 5% of the food, 95% are toxins and garbage. No less than an hour should pass between eating proteinous and carbohydrate food. 3 hours is better. The next level is to mix no more than 2-3 types of products in one meal. The table for separate nutrition can be found on the internet. The highest level of separated nutrition is mononutrition, when we consume only one product during one meal. The fifth rule: do not overeat. Finish the meal with a slight feeling of hunger. Eating too much means getting poisoned, even if we speak about healthy plant products. I like the saying, keep your head cold, stomach hungry, feet warm. It's better to have several small meals than to eat a lot once a day. And the sixth rule, the most important one: you should eat when your physical body requires and needs it. People tend to have several false symptoms of needing nutrition. The first false symptom is the syndrome of not full enough stomach. When it seems that the stomach is empty and we should eat, or rather throw whatever we have around us to make it full, the food falls inside like a stone, and we think we are full. The second one is emotions, human psyche, lack of psychological diversity. Это первое. Второе — это эмоции. Это психика. Человек обычно употребляет пищу из-за... Being dependent on food shows our psyche's stagnation. By sweet food we compensate the lack of some emotions, by hot of other ones, by salty of some other ones too. If we clean up the channels of our psyche, psychological body, then we conquer our dependence on different tastes, and no temptation rules us. On the contrary, we conquer them. These are the main features of our bodies. I characterize the body as having many states: physical, subtle, mental, astral, and more. If you follow all these rules, then regardless of nutrition level, transition to the next level can occur by itself, especially if you are engaged in the practices. Over time, you'll move on to the next level, from one stage to the next. There are three most important fundamentals of holistic development towards evolution and spiritual development. They are spirit or consciousness, soul and body. Our level of development is a synergy of vibrations of these three fundamentals. There are three kinds of enlightenment. Enlightenment of consciousness, which many have heard of, the so-called transcendental experience, beyond duality. Enlightenment of soul, which is unconditional love, immortal structure, and the third is the enlightenment of physical body, which is prana nutrition. The ultimate goal is to combine all these three enlightenments together. When combined together, these three enlightenments give the highest level of evolution, body of the light. The goal is to develop at all three levels. This is what I wanted to share with you today, the essence of harmony of holistic development. Our nutrition is just a way to raise the vibration of our three fundamentals. The more pure our nutrition, the easier the vibrations raise. Prana nutrition is the perfect foundation for further growth, but it is still not the highest level. Now I will answer your questions. How does prana nutrition happen? Automatically. I currently use the term prana nutrition. As I mentioned, prana nutrition is a linear energy, and a person has to use certain practices to tap into this energy. The next level is autonomy. It is full self-sufficiency, not to parasite on external sources of energy, but to activate your inner sun, your inner source of strength, zero Hera point. As a result, the energy starts to come out from within, an internal thermonuclear station turns on. This energy has a sweet taste, but not only in the mouth, its sweetness is spread throughout the whole body. At a minimum, however, the goal is spiral energy and full autonomy. This is the highest level, transcendence, when the body begins to transform to the body of light. Our three fundamentals, consciousness, body and soul, depend on each other. If we are engaged in the practice of concentration, then we develop from the depths of inner space on the outside. If we are engaged in the breathing practice Anuloma Viloma, then we transform from the external structure of the physical body inside to its original point. If we apply concentration and breathing practices simultaneously, then we raise our pH level and develop consciousness. We transform from two sides simultaneously. If we are engaged in energy practices, then the development process is accelerated. This is the essence of harmony and integral development. We will discuss this in more detail in a future topic. Question: tell us about the practice of headstand. Answer: the focus of each practice, including headstand, is not to exceed the comfort level. We should get pleasure from the practice. If you start feeling uncomfortable, the practice should be stopped. For example, the poison in small doses is medicine, and medicine in large doses is poison. The maximum positive effect of the practice is not to harm yourself. Our body tells us everything. Learn to listen to your body. Question: do you have a girlfriend? Answer: let's skip that. Next question, please. Question: can I build muscle mass with prana nutrition? Answer: prana nutrition is a balanced diet. It is just energy nutrition. We eat at the expense of our inner sources of energy. Our organism is able to synthesize the entire periodic table. If the body needs proteins, we synthesize proteins. If the body needs amino acids, we produce amino acids. Our body is in standalone mode. Unfortunately, people have lost this autonomy, and the body has lost the ability to feed on through inner sources, and now we cannot produce the necessary energy independently. We begin to resort to external nutrition, and flavor dependence occurs. But we can turn this process around. Self-contained power nutrition is balanced nutrition. If we are engaged in physical labor, then our organism starts to produce more proteins. If we are engaged in mental activity, then the body begins to produce acid in the required quantities, just what you need at the moment. Question: how can we stop the flow of thoughts in everyday life? The goal is not to stop thinking, not to suppress the mind, but vice versa. The goal is to develop mind. It's most important to harmonize mind and intelligence. Our left and right hemispheres don't exceed each other in development. The mind is a powerful tool. It has to manage attention, and we have to use our mind. The level of this vibration is called mind intelligence intellect. At a certain level of development, the mind, as a consequence, calms down, and we use it when we need it. When we need to analyze or calculate something, then we use it. In other times, it does not bother us. We need to be in the state of presence and awareness constantly, not just sometimes. It is sort of the entrance to the gates of presence and not logical observer presence. In the near future we will study it, and I will tell my experience. That is the techniques and practices that I have studied and used, not just in this embodiment. It's just words for you now. So you will have to check it all out, be your own experience. Question: is boiled water harmful? Answer: when you drink steaming tea, which means the water temperature is above 60 degrees Celsius, it is above body temperature. The mucous membrane of the stomach is about 37 degrees. When the water or broth over 40 degrees gets into the stomach, then the gastric mucosa dissolves. We are lucky that the mucosal cells are constantly renewed, but we spend a tremendous amount of energy on it. Herbal and berry infusions without boiling are very good. We can soak herbs in room temperature water, but only in a glass dish, not in a metal container. Immediate oxidation occurs when there is contact with the metal. Excellent choice is spring water or melted snow water. Question: where can I get your account number to make a donation? Answer: I don't need it. Invest in self-improvement. For me, your results are most important. Question: do I have to ozonize water? Answer: it is necessary only in the early stages, and then it is undesirable. If our body receives excesses of substances from external sources, then the body does not produce these substances independently. When we run internal alchemy or synthesis, we need to limit the number of elements getting into our organism. The body begins to look for alternative nutrition and rebuild. If our body is clean and highly alkaline, then it finds alternative nutrition independently. Question: what do you think of sick children and people? Do they need help? Answer: everybody today has what he or she accumulated yesterday with all past incarnations. Our past determines the quality of the present, and the present determines the quality of the future. So if we have some kind of disease, that means we have contracted it by means of our yesterday doings. The highest level of being is the autonomy, that is, it is necessary to teach ill man to self-heal and find the cause of the disease. Show him the practice and tell him what you know. If we help him and heal him, then he will not pass this test. We pulled him out, he recovered, but the illness will return to him again after some period of time. Question: does sex take a lot of energy? Answer: this is our third topic. Uncontrolled sex takes a lot of energy. Controlling the ejaculation, we don't lose energy. On the contrary, sexual energy develops and transforms us. Let me remind you that there are 3 types of energy: linear, spiral, transcendental. Sexual energy is hot spiral energy. If a person conquers it, he begins to transform. If a person cannot control it, then it is an enormous waste of energy. It's all about abilities. Some lose, others gain. Question: are you a supporter of a certain tradition? Are you Rodnover? Answer: I do not belong to any of the traditions. My tradition is intuitive knowledge of Genesis. I learn and use a lot of traditions and religions, but it is rational grains for understanding the properties of the universe. Also, I use terms of different traditions in communication. I communicate with Hindus using their term for understanding, knowing their tradition. I communicate with Slavs, using their terminology and the basics of world perception and so on. I'm not attached to anything. I only use them for studying Genesis. I'm out of tradition, but I respect and learn from each of them. The only thing that limits us is our doubts and our aspirations. Nothing in the universe can limit us, as the universe is the result of the work of our consciousness. See you soon. For clarity, I've created this image. Consciousness and subconsciousness of collective unconsciousness are separated. The upper part of the sphere is consciousness. Under consciousness is subconsciousness. Most people are not aware of themselves on the subconscious level. Subconscious level is all our experience with the first embodiment, all memory of all knowledge. You can compare consciousness and subconsciousness as the farmer in the field. Consciousness is a farmer, Subconsciousness is a field. Whatever the farmer sows, thinks and dreams, that what will grow on the field with time. Our consciousness sows thought forms in subconsciousness. There they form and grow stronger, and are realized through the psyche, as a reaction to external irritants. Everything around us is a combination of other people's subconsciousnesses. Together with our subconsciousness, they compose the universal mind. The first level is consciousness, the second level is individual subconsciousness, and surrounding that is collective unconsciousness or superconsciousness. Over time, we establish in concentration of awareness, presence in the moment, and reach the purity of consciousness. It becomes like a blank sheet of paper, and as a result, the internal dialogue stops. Most traditions call it enlightenment. Then subconsciousness enlightens. The memories of past incarnations come. All experiences and memories return. When subconsciousness is completely clear, we merge with collective superconsciousness. Our physical body is a continuation of our superconsciousness. As I quote the words of Osho, unconscious evolution ends with man, through him also begins the evolution of consciousness. Our essence in a physical body is the center of the universe. I drew how our superconsciousness perceives space and time. In the center of the image is our superconsciousness in the form of the energy sphere. During tomorrow's session I will essentially define what superconsciousness is and what part of the body it corresponds to. So our superconsciousness can be presented as an entity which is located in a room with 5 windows. Each window represents one of our 5 senses: sight, sound, smell, taste and touch. Through these 5 senses we perceive space and time. During the process of evolution, man relied on 3 methods for world perception. The first method is based on our 5 senses, and this method we use from birth. It is based upon the range of influence for each of our senses. All of these senses are primitive and exist at low frequencies of vibration. Further, many other animals possess senses that are far more developed than in man. An average person does not see the polarized light, radiation, energy in the space, nor the energy field around the person. Each of our senses has a limited range of capabilities. A person with above average senses is able to feel, see and hear only a small fraction of the total possible range of light, sound, energy and heat waves.
В пространстве, ни, соответственно, поля вокруг человека. То есть у каждого из этого органа чувств свой диапазон. Вот я его сбоку тут нарисовал. Вот такой вот диапазончик. Из всего спектра мы воспринимаем лишь небольшой. Вот этот способ познания в пространстве и времени мы используем с младенчества. И вот такая вот интересная картинка, которая выражает нашу суть.
The next picture shows the essence of knowledge of space through the 5 senses. The soul sits in the chariot of the material body. Intelligence controls the senses through the mind. When a person grows, and the capabilities of the mind, intelligence and intellect grow, then the individual is able to perceive the world, space and time in a second more advanced way, which is based on our mental abilities, intelligence and intellect. The mind receives information. Intelligence analyzes, draws conclusions and stores the information in the trunk of intellect. This method of perception is also limited. It still receives and processes all information from the five senses. A person who tries to understand the mysteries of Genesis through the mind, intelligence, and intellect is a naive person.
От зрения, от обоняния, от слуха и так далее.
Sooner or later, that person will just get confused, because the speed of perception of Genesis is faster than the abilities of our mind, intelligence, and intellect.
Разумом, интеллектом просто наивный человек. Рано или поздно мы просто запутаемся. Мы просто запутаемся, так как скорость восприятия бытия гораздо выше скоростное, чем способности ума, разума, интеллекта. Вот, к примеру, такой вот опыт проводили несколько ученых. Мы как раз в то время интересовались.
To test this theory, scientists conducted an experiment which positioned a man in front of a computer monitor and mounted sensors to his head to determine the reaction of the brain. On the monitor and at regular intervals, pictures of human facial expressions were displayed. The experiment indicated that the person reacted to the picture 7 seconds before it appeared on the screen, i.e. his eyes did not see the picture but his superconsciousness had already responded. Superconsciousness triggers instantly. Subconsciousness perceives at the speed of light and consciousness perceives at the speed of sound. That is, information comes late.
То есть информация передается молниеносно. Наше подсознание работает на скоростях звука, а наше сознание в соответствии с умом, разумом, интеллекта работает на скоростях звука. То есть информация запаздывает.
Anyone who tries to perceive space and time using the senses, sooner or later will get confused.
Рано или поздно запутается. И вот мне нравится одно древнее выражение.
I like this old expression that explains mind, intelligence, and intellect are assistants only at the first stage of development, then they become our enemies. When a person becomes unable to overcome the formed picture of Genesis, when he begins to feel invisible energy but the mind interferes with it. Therefore, we should develop a more powerful tool of perception of Genesis. We should expand the range of our senses.
Более сильный инструмент познания бытия, так называемый, это расширение диапазона каждого из органов чувств. Первое это чистота сознания.
First is purity of consciousness. Many people say that it is necessary to stop the inner dialogue. But the mind is not our enemy. The mind is our tool and assistant. In humans, there is not a single superfluous detail, not in the physical body, nor in subtle bodies. We should not remove the mind. We should grow intelligence, so the right and left hemispheres of the brain are in harmony. When we reach the harmony of the hemispheres, our pineal gland becomes active. It will radiate crystalline ambrosia.
Были в гармонии. И уже когда мы достигаем гармонии полушарий мозга, наша шишковидная железа становится активной. Излучать кристаллическую амброзию.
Many people outline the process of meditation and concentration, feel it in the mouth, and then they feel it coming from the center of the body. When the hemispheres of the brain are in harmony, we progress on to the third method of understanding the world, which is intuitive perception. Expanding consciousness develops all the channels of our perception of the world. For example, sight is perception of light from infrared to ultraviolet.
Так, к примеру, диапазон света зрительный.
In hearing, we are starting to hear ultrasounds and infrasounds, etc. All the senses are working at their best. As a result, we reach the first level of purity, the clarity of consciousness. Then we develop deeper, raising the vibrations through concentration, and this gradually leads to enlightenment. That is a pure look at the perception of Genesis, without the interference of the mind.
Далее мы начинаем погружаться вглубь, поднимать вибрации путем через концентрацию, и это постепенно приводит к просветлению. То есть озарение бытия чистым взором, без вмешательства ума. Еще раз повторюсь, остановка внутреннего диалога — это следствие.
Stopping the internal dialogue is a consequence of the strong focus of attention and intuitive presence. Perception of everything simultaneously happens at the moment of the purity of consciousness. Then the person will not need any books, lessons, teacher or religion. Those who cannot realize their intuitive original nature through deep concentration will require books, lessons, teacher or religion. Projection of intuitive knowledge passes through books and other sources of information. What I wanted to start with was 3 ways of world perception. The first method we use from birth. It is based on the abilities of our senses. The second is the senses and intellect, and the third is harmonization of the right and left brain hemispheres, achieving purity of consciousness and subconsciousness and merging with the collective superconsciousness, i.e. enlightening of consciousness. The source of information which we come into contact with through enlightenment is called Khan, among other names. In this source we are able to extract information about Genesis without intermediaries. Of all 3 times past, present and future, we do not need any writing, teachers or religion. The question arises and we immediately get an answer. Or we are asked a question and we immediately get an answer without hesitation. In this 0 point of superconscious Genesis there is information present about everything. This is the experience of enlightenment of all Genesis and all 3 times present, past, future. In different traditions it called different names. In Taoism it Tao, in physics it's singularity point Jara, among the Slavic ancestors it Khan. The second circle is the one that is outside of the center circle Pakhan, and the third one is Zakan, which is the outer circle. We receive information constantly through books and religious sources. Everyone gets information from teachers on their level, on the level of their vibration. If there is a student, there will be a teacher. Zakan, this source of information includes all religions and moral teachings. All the handwritten information from Khan, including the Vedas, is Zakan. Any uttered thought is a lie, and recorded thought is a greater lie. The outer circle is religion and writings. Many people try to learn their nature through the third circle, which includes religion. If a person develops and his vibrations increase, then he starts getting information from Pokan through meditation and TDOES and need written sources of information. This circle includes channeling, but this still involves mediators. The highest level is Khan, is to learn on your own how to immerse yourself in this state, or in other words, enlightenment, which is the highest level of receiving information. Each level map has its abilities. Those who cannot be immersed in meditation, use books, religious literature and moral ethical rules. Those who are able to come into contact with the subtle plan, use Pokan. Enlightened people use Khan. The development of consciousness exceeds the knowledge of the mind. For example, if you are thirsty, you drink water. It is impossible to communicate the taste of water. Verbal information will be perceived with distortions. Whoever you are giving the information will understand you in accordance with the level of their vibrations.
информацию по мере своих уровней
There are
вибраций.
three main states of consciousness:
Существует три
dream,
основных
awake,
состояния
clear
сознания.
consciousness.
Так,
The realization of objects and the world in general
всем известное
passes
состояние
through our
сознания. Второе,
consciousness.
бодрствование, тоже всем известное состояние сознания. И третье, ясное
Consciousness plays a
состояние,
major
на
role in the
котором мы и
structure of the
остановимся.
person. Everything else goes behind him:
проходит через
soul,
наше сознание.
mind, psyche,
Сознание
subtle
играет
body,
главенствующую
physical
роль
body,
в
and
организме
energy.
человека. А за ним уже подстраивается все остальное. И душа, и ум, и нервная система, и тонкие тела, и физическое тело, энергетика. И вот три наших состояния
Pure
сознания. Сон,
consciousness
бодрствование,
is a state which we come into contact with every day, even if we are not formally practicing such. This happens when we fall asleep and wake up.
Все знаете, остановимся на чистом сознании. Вот как раз чистое
This
сознание
is a
это
borderline
состояние
condition,
более
it lasting from a
которое
second to a
приходит
few
ежедневно.
fractions of a second in an ordinary person.
Если не занимаемся практиками, а ежедневно
An ordinary person who does not formally practice bases on this kind of pure consciousness. During this time he is growing with minimum vibration, filling with energy for the whole day. An ordinary person only uses 4-6% of their brain capacity. There is a 100% utilization of all human capabilities. That is the level of pure consciousness. Reaching this level, a person begins to explore the world on an intuitive level, from personal experience, rather than logical reasoning. Pure consciousness is consciousness of human capabilities. During concentration, consciousness focusing, immersing in subtle worlds, overcoming mind and logic and stopping the internal dialogue, we approach pure consciousness. While growing, the person goes through 4 states of enlightenment: logical understanding, awakening, pure consciousness, and true enlightenment. The first 3 are the stages before enlightenment, as far as the adept has not yet become one unit with the ultimate reality. The highest level of enlightenment corresponds to the final stage of enlightenment, where the adept merges with the higher reality.
Где адепт становится одним целым с высшей реальностью, то есть четвертое. И вот по порядку.
The first is enlightenment of the dedicated, when a person gets on his way of development logically, that is, he understands that it is necessary to develop and wants to understand who he is and his inner nature. By practicing, we move to the second level, which is awakening. This happens when we come into contact with pure consciousness, that is, we get the experience of pure consciousness once, touched it but could not resist it, and then lost it. Practicing concentration, we expand consciousness and our vibrations begin to rise. The stronger the vibrations, the more powerful consciousness we should achieve in order to maintain it. If we didn't hold on to it, then we are thrown into meditation. Meditation is a copper pipe, images of our subconsciousness. If we didn't have time to clear subconsciousness, then we got thrown into meditation or a normal condition, but we got the experience, and because of that experience a powerful transformation has occurred. One time or multiple contact with pure consciousness is awakening. The third level is pure consciousness. When a person is secure in this state, he no longer is thrown out, and as a consequence, internal dialogue is stopped. At a level of clarity, wisdom comes after it. The person is in this intuitive state. His mind is as clear as a blank sheet of paper. The fourth is true enlightenment. This is when we are pure not only at the level of consciousness but also at the level of subconsciousness. Next there is a transition into superconsciousness. This is true enlightenment. If the third level in the different traditions is called nirvana, then the fourth is parinirvana, which is true purity of subconsciousness. We recall all the incarnations, we remember the whole experience, and we merge with it. We will talk tomorrow about the next level. duality and transcendence. Everything that we see around us is the reflection of light emanating from us. Light comes out of us and returns, and we see the reflection. The outside world is a projection of our inner state. The flow of light from the 0 point of superconsciousness passes subconsciousness, consciousness, chakra and psyche. Then it comes back, and what we see is our advantages and disadvantages. There is an expression, we see our advantages in our friends and we see our disadvantages in our enemies. All this is the projection of us. Duality and transcendence, how do they differ from each other? Those who have known me for a long time know that I do not like to talk a lot. I like to demonstrate the practices and create states. For example, when we see someone, our pure consciousness perceives the image of a person. The light coming from us is reflected from the person. We see his image with a part of the brain where the cerebellum is, and it initially perceives the image as inverted. At the first moment of seeing, no thought arises. Just pure state of perception. The image is the way it is. Next, the mind is connected, and it begins to color the image. If it is a beautiful person, then there is the expectation of a pleasant feeling. If a person is not beautiful, then there is a negative feeling. The first is pure image. In the second case, the mind has colored that image, gave the association, and after the mind has colored that image into negative or positive, a change in mental state resulted. If the mind perceived the image as the enemy, we recognized and felt the threat. If it is a friend, then the mind reacts with an improved mood. All of these three processes happen so quickly, in less than a fraction of a second. The mind perceives it as the same process. It seems that all three levels of perception occur simultaneously. When we are rooted in the concentration of pure consciousness in its true nature, we stop the internal dialogue, and it dissolves the mental pattern. We begin to see the picture through clear vision, as it is, in reality. For example, we go outside, we see the enemy. The mind perceived him, then the excitement of the psyche comes, irritation and reduction of vibrations. In pure consciousness, we perceive the enemy just as the image. There is nothing good or bad, just an image to be understood. It all depends on our world perception and how we are trained to perceive. If we have deviations and mental disorders, then to have a meeting with the enemy will be punishment. If we are positive, it will be a reward. In our friends and our enemies we only see ourselves, our qualities. In friends we see good qualities, in enemies we see bad qualities. In Genesis there are no enemies or friends, only simulators. Duality and transcendence depend on the speed of our subconsciousness.
В бытие нет ни врага, ни друга, есть только тренажера. И вот как раз дуальность и трансцендентность – это скорость нашего подсознания на высоких скоростях.
At high speeds, the mind calms down. We only see the true image and instantly get all the information later. Cause and effect enters the thought and lessons become clear, suggesting reasons for the encounter. If the speed of consciousness is weak, then mind begins to paint the image in the expected way.
то это уже
Here's the
начинает
basic
окрашивать ваше
difference.
зрение. Вот, в принципе, разница в скоростях. Либо только чистое сознание, либо скорости слабые. Тогда мы причинно-следственную связь не видим, а это видит только ум.
It
В
either
виде
pure
шаблонов или
consciousness or
ярлыков.
the low speed at
И
which
вот
the mind perceives
уровни
the image in the
концентрации.
form of expected patterns.
Ну,
The
поначалу
levels of
самой концентрации.
concentration.
Сегодня, на сегодняшний день,
Firstly, let's talk
когда
about the
человек сидит
concentration.
бесподвижно
In
в
today's
практике,
world, a person who
например, очень
practices
неподвижно,
is
как
sitting
гора, и
like a
что-то внутренне
mountain and
делает,
doing
и это
something
все сразу
inside, and
называть
they call it
медитацией. Я
meditation.
это все разделю.
I divide these practices as meditation and
Медитация,
concentration,
концентрация,
contemplation and
созерцание и
visualization.
визуализация. На сегодняшний день это все объединили. Именно
Somehow
концентрация
it
это
is assumed
источник
to be
поднятия
combined
вибраций,
in
когда мы
one
начинаем
concept.
осветлять сознание,
Concentration is a
как следствие
source
становится
of
время
raising the
белого тока
vibration
подсознания,
when we
сияет частей
begin to
сознания
clarify
яркости, потом
consciousness.
частоты подсознания, просветление. А медитация это следствие.
As a
Медленный труд, когда
consequence,
человек не
the
держался
internal
на этих
dialogue
вибрациях, его
stops.
выкидывает
Then
в образ.
subconsciousness reaches the purity
Все
and
остальное
clarity, that
слабое
is
рассеяние,
enlightenment.
фокусировка, созерцание,
Meditation
либо
is when a
визуализация.
person does
Либо
not
визуализация,
maintain at
человек
high
работает с уровнем
vibration
энергии.
levels
Но
and
не
he
на
gets
уровне
thrown
вращения
into
энергии, а
images
на
and
уровне ее
thoughts.
визуализирования.
Weak,
Синхронистичных
scattered focus
событий
is
в стадии
contemplation
визуализации.
or visualization. If a person works with the internal
Когда мы
energy
долго
at the level of
концентрируемся
its
на одном
visualization,
объекте, а все остальные исчезают из поля нашего внимания.
when
Это
we've been
означает сильная
concentrating
концентрация.
on one object
Способность
for a
фокусировать свое
while, all
внимание,
other
и все
objects
100%
disappear from our
внимания сфокусированы
attention.
на точке.
It
Именно
means that
1%
you are in a
внимания
strong
может ее ограничить.
concentration.
Значит,
When you are
концентрация
able to
сильная.
focus your
Если на
attention
что-то еще
100%
отвлекает,
at one
шум,
point and not be
гам и
distracted
так
by
далее,
other
значит, наша
senses,
концентрация
then the
очень устойчива.
concentration is strong.
Однонаправленная
If you
фокусировка
have
внимания еще не
something else
выработана.
distracting you,
Концентрация, по сути, это
smells,
состояние
sounds,
сознания, при
it
котором
means that
нет
the
ни
concentration
одной
is
мысли,
not stable.
кроме объекта фокусировки внимания. Если вы в думах, а я сейчас сижу и концентрируюсь, значит, вы потеряли концентрацию.
Directional focus of attention has not yet been achieved.
Единоразовое отклонение от
Concentration
концентрации
is a
тоже
state
потеря
of
идет.
consciousness in which there is
Средний
no
человек,
thought other than the
средний
object of
человек в
focus.
состоянии концентрации
If you
находится
think
всего
and
лишь
try
4
to
секунды.
focus, then you lose
Сфокусировался на объекте,
concentration.
его сила концентрации 4 секунды, и его потом выбивает, мысль посетила. У кого-то там 3, у кого-то 2.
A one-time
Редкость,
deviation
когда
from the
человек способен
concentration is a
неотвлеченно
loss
удерживать
of it.
фокусированную
An
фокусировку
ordinary
внимания
person
4
is being
секунды.
in a state of concentration
лучше.
for only
И
4
вот первый
seconds,
уровень.
and then he is pushed in
Первый уровень я
thoughts,
вот тут
inner
разделил 2
dialogue.
минуты,
It's
15
rare
минут,
that an ordinary
30 минут.
person is able
Вот
to
первый уровень
maintain
это всего до
focus
2
for
минут.
more than 4
Самое
seconds.
сложное первый путь,
First
когда
level is 2
человека
minutes,
отвлекают мысли.
second is
Тяжело
15 minutes,
сфокусировать внимание,
third-30 minutes.
мысли отвлекают, думы, заботы, все эти
The
иллюзорные
hardest part
феномены
is the
нас
first
отвлекают.
steps when a
Это
man
первый
is
уровень,
distracted by
нестабильность,
thoughts.
самое
It's
тяжелое
difficult to
начало.
focus.
Второй 2 минуты.
Concerns,
Это уже очень
dreams, and
высокий
all
уровень.
illusory
Если мы
phenomena
способны
distract
сфокусироваться
us
на
if you
объекте
happen to
концентрации
concentrate for
2
more than
минуты
2
на
minutes.
протяжении
It
2
means
минут
you are on the
не
second
отвлечься.
level. Then the
Это чистая,
active stop of
после этого
internal
начинается
dialogue
активная стопа
begins.
внутреннего
A
диалога.
person is
2 минуты это
psychologically
человек
stable
уже
and balanced. He
психологически
has strong will
устойчив,
and sincerity.
уравновешен, сильная воля,
You can spend an hour and
усердность.
think about something,
Вот это вот 2
or you
минуты.
can sit for 2 minutes and
Повторюсь, можно
qualitatively be
просидеть час
focused.
и весь час о чем
Third
подумать,
level is
размышлять,
15
можно просто
minutes.
эти 2 минуты и все 2 минуты быть сфокусированным. 2 минуты будет гораздо сильнее и лучше. Качество. Нужно ли мне качество направления своего внимания? Следующий, третий уровень, 15 минут. Если человек
If a
способен
person is
удержаться
able to stay in active concentration for 15 minutes without any distraction, then it is pure consciousness, in some traditions called enlightenment. Inner dialogue is completely stopped, and we use the mind only when we need it. If we need to calculate something, then we use the mind. If we need to analyze something, then we analyze. Other than that, the mind is in harmony and DOES and distract us.
Во всем остальном он в гармонии нас не отвлекает.
Most people are walking on the street and talking to themselves, not noticing anything around. Wherever our attention is focused, the energy strives there. We have our head in the clouds, the energy is in the clouds. It turns out that we're losing it. When we are in the 100% presence, we instantly read information which is in our field of influence. Our field may be a few meters, as well as several kilometers. Everyone who is in this field, and everything that is in it, we perceive like our body.
Пройти практику, которая позволяет в это войти, будем только теоретически. Интуитивное восприятие. Мы даже можем не знать, кто вошел в наше поле. Но когда он входит в наше поле, а наше поле может быть...
Somebody got into our field and we know if it a man or a woman, what diseases a person has. If we get deeper into his mental background, we see how that person likes us and what he thinks. This perception begins 15 minutes after reaching the steady focus of attention. That's the power, the purity and clarity of consciousness. After that comes wisdom. The man is asked a question and he immediately responds.
Первый уровень — чистота и ясность сознания. Вслед за ним происходит мудрость. Человеку задают вопрос, он тут же отвечает. То есть он соприкасается с коном, с источником информации.
It means he comes into contact with Kun. He does not need any teachers, and he became a teacher for himself, a full understanding that all teachers are our projections of our subconsciousness. 15 minutes in the third level of concentration is nirvana. Next is the highest level, parinirvana, when pure consciousness and subconsciousness are true enlightenment. There are 4 types of concentration. Up to 2 minutes when a man is not mentally stable. 2 minutes when a man is absolutely stable. We do not exist as a reaction to external stimuli.
Он пока еще как маятник, так сказать. Человек по своей природе как маятник. Мы можем быть в негативе, либо в позитиве, в негативе, либо в позитиве.
Man by nature is like a pendulum. We can be either negative or positive. External stimuli influence us. Our goal is not to be in the negative or the positive. The aim to be neutral and objective. Third level, 15 minutes of continuous concentration is pure consciousness. There is clarity and wisdom. 30 minutes is full enlightenment. All past incarnations are recalled. At 30 minutes of concentration we receive power. What is power? The first is the highest power of our structure. When we are in steadfast focus of attention and intuitive feeling, powerful transformation processes within us begin to happen. The entire structure of subtle bodies, mind and physical body transforms. In this transformed state, the next focus of our attention immediately yields all the information. Whoever or whatever is in front of you, what is its nature, the reason it came into our lives, the reason we are now projecting it, and so on. Rooting in the concentration, the level of rising of vibration begins, consciousness and subconsciousness lighten and we become superconsciousness and merge with Genesis. There is another type of concentration that I have tested empirically. This occurs at the level of 10-12 minutes of uninterrupted concentration. A person feels spiritual ecstasy when blissful amrita begins to disperse throughout the body and transforms us. Those sensations that occur during 15-minute concentration are impossible to describe in words.
Человек ощущает на своем опыте, что такое духовный экстаз, когда духовное состояние блаженной амриты начинает расходиться по телу и трансформировать нас. Выше об этом просто нет слов, что будет происходить в вашей структуре.
There are 4 perfections for the seeker. In different traditions, the structure of human body is counted and divided in different ways. Somewhere consciousness and 7 bodies, somewhere divided into 9 bodies, 10 or 13, but as a whole it's the same 3 basic foundations: body, soul and spirit.
И наш уровень развития — это совокупная частота
Our
вибраций
level of
всех
development is a
фундаментов, а не
combination of the
чего-то одного.
frequencies of
И вот
vibration of all three
самосовершенствуясь,
foundations.
мы
By self-improving,
приобретаем
we
несколько
gain
качеств
several
бессмертия.
qualities of
Первое,
immortality.
самый низкий уровень бессмертия — это бессмертие физического тела.
The
Самый
first
первый
level
квадрат.
of immortality is
Такого человечка
immortality of the
нарисовал,
physical
нашел
body,
снова.
lower left
Вот это
picture.
бессмертие физического
The
тела.
second level of
Второй
immortality is
уровень
enlightenment
бессмертия —
of
это
consciousness and
просветление.
mind, second
Просветление
picture.
духа, то есть просветление
The third
сознания.
level of
Третий уровень
immortality is
развития —
the
это
simultaneous
одновременно и
enlightenment of
просветление сознания, и
consciousness and
просветление
body,
тела.
third
И
picture.
четвертый уровень —
The
тело
fourth
света,
level
когда мы
of
достигли
immortality
просветления
is the
духа,
body of light.
когда мы достигли
When we reach
просветления духа,
enlightenment
когда
of
мы достигли
spirit,
просветления
soul
тела.
and body,
Наш
fourth
дух, он
picture.
и так бессмертен,
Our spirit
но
is
качество
immortal,
его именно
but
в
it
теле.
shows its
И тело — это
qualities in the
продолжение
physical
сознания.
body.
Первый способ
The physical
получить
body is
от
the
нашего сознания — это
continuation of
материализация, когда она
consciousness.
формирует все
The
тела и
first way
физическое
of our
тело.
consciousness
Далее
is
мы можем потерять тело,
materialization,
вернуться
when all
в
bodies,
нейтральную,
including the
высокую
physical
вибрацию
body, are
бытия.
formed.
Либо высший
Then
уровень,
we
когда
can
находит
lose all
материю,
of the
которая
bodies and
сформировала
return to
сознание,
the neutral
и
high
перенести его в тело
vibration of
света.
Genesis,
Вот этот
or
высший
we
уровень
can reach
развития
the
считается
highest
тело
level
света,
and
оплодотворение материи.
spiritualize matter, which
Наша
formed the
задача —
consciousness, and transform it into a body of
суть
light.
структуры развития природы. Наши три фундамента — дух, душа
The
и
essence
тело.
of developing our
Это
three
выразилось в 7 тел.
foundations,
На
spirit,
разнице нет, в какой,
soul,
возможно,
and
своей
body.
традиции. Если кто-то привязан еще к традициям, может выражать это в других количествах тел, либо
I
в других
called them this
именованиях,
way.
но
You can
разницы по
call
сути
them
нет.
what
Для
you
разных
want.
природ одна и
It
та
is
же.
all the same.
И вот наши,
Awareness,
скажем,
treasure of
пока не 7
spirit,
тел
is direct
выражается в
practice
3
of raising
фундамента:
spirit
дух, душа и тело.
vibrations.
Прямая практика
It is
поднятия
focus
вибраций
and
духа
concentration
—
allowing
это сознание.
vibrations to
Сокровище
raise.
духа — это внимание.
During practice
Посредством
of
внимания, посредством
concentration,
концентрации
the vibrations
идет
raise
процесс
top
поднятия
down.
вибраций.
Mind evolution
То есть,
starts first, then go the
когда мы
deep
занимаемся
levels of
концентрацией,
subconscious,
когда
and
направлено
after
высокое
all,
внимание,
subtle bodies
происходит
and
поднятие
physical
вибраций
body.
сверху вниз. То есть сначала вибрирует, начинает развиваться сознание,
Raising vibrations
глубинные
through
уровни подсознания,
concentration is
выше,
top-down transformation, or
тонкоматериальные
you can imagine
тела,
it another
мир
way,
физического тела.
like outside
Поднятие
from
вибраций
within.
через концентрацию —
Let
это
me recall an
трансформация
example.
сверху
If
вниз.
you ask
Если
an
опираться на
ordinary
эту
person
картинку,
where his
либо
mind
тоже
is
сбоку
located,
нарисовал
he would point at
изнутри
his head.
вовне.
If you ask blind person the same
Вот сейчас
question,
вспомнил
he
одно
would put
выражение,
his hand
которое,
on his
когда,
heart.
допустим, у обычного человека
When we
спрашивают, где
practice
находится
breathing
твое сознание,
exercises,
он раз ответил
vibrations
на
rise
голову,
down
раз
top or
где-то там в
inside from
голове.
outside.
Если спросить тот же самый вопрос у слепого человека, где находится твое сознание,
These are the two main tools of raising vibrations.
гораздо внутреннее,
There
чувственное
is only
пространство и
one
время.
vibration rhythm in existence, and it
Когда мы
is
занимаемся
divided into
концентрацией,
two
происходит
rhythms,
поднятие вибраций
rhythm of
сверху
mind and
вниз.
rhythm of breathing.
Если это опираться картинку из глубин вовне. Когда мы занимаемся дыханием,
When we
дыхательными
practice
практиками,
concentration, first
происходит
the inner
поднятие
discourse
вибраций наоборот,
stops, then we
снизу
plunge
вверх.
into subconscious.
То есть извне
Consequently,
вовнутрь.
our
Это
breathing
вот два основных
stops.
инструмента
Vice
поднятия
versa,
вибраций.
if we are able to
В
stop
бытии
breathing in a
существует один лишь
natural
ритм
way, we
вибрационный.
immediately
И
find
вот он делится
ourselves
на
in
два:
deeper
на
realms
ритм
of
сознания и
consciousness
на
or
ритм
in deep
дыхания.
meditation.
Что,
I
занимаясь
usually
практиками
compare
концентрации,
rhythm of
сначала
mind and
останавливаемся
rhythm
внутренний
of breathing
диалог,
with
потом дальше
needle and
погружаемся в
thread.
подсознание, и как следствие останавливается наше дыхание. И наоборот. Если мы способны остановить
The
свое
thread
дыхание
can be
естественно,
pulled
мы
behind
тут же
the
попадаем
needle
в
and the
глубокую
needle
сферу
can be
сознания,
pulled behind the
либо
thread.
глубокую медитацию.
These two practices lead
Обычно
to the
сравнивают
same status,
ритм
just
сознания
one
и
of it
ритм
leads
дыхания как нитку с
outside
иголкой.
from within and
Как
the
нитку можно
direction of
вытянуть
the
за
other
иголку,
is
так и
reversed.
иголку можно вытянуть за
If we
нитку.
use the
Они
two
приводят к одному и
practices
тому
at
же
the same
состоянию.
time,
Только
if we
одно
practice both
посредством
breathing exercises and concentration,
извне
we develop
вовнутрь,
bilaterally.
а
The
другое в
growth is
обратном
faster
порядке.
this way.
То есть концентрация
The way
сначала
to the
сверху вниз
top is
нас
shorter.
трансформирует, дыхание снизу
Everyone
вверх.
has different
И если же мы
objectives.
в своей системе, на своем пути используем два
Someone
варианта
aims
одновременно,
enlightenment, the other
занимаемся
aims
дыханием
prana eating,
одновременно с
the other
сознанием,
needs health,
тогда
youth,
мы приобретаем
intellectual
духовное
abilities.
развитие. И
It
извне
is all
вовнутрь
the
себя
same.
трансформируем.
If we use
Наоборот,
both
изнутри вовнутрь.
instruments,
Мы
we
следующим
succeed
шагом
faster.
трансформируем. Тем самым ускоряемся, тем самым покоряем свою вершину горы гораздо быстрее. У одного цель — просветление, у кого-то
But
питание
that's
праны, у
not
кого-то
all. If we
здоровье,
add energy
молодости, у кого-то
practice,
способность
then
праны,
vibrations
интеллекта.
raise in both
Разницы нет.
directions
Если мы
even
подключаем два
faster.
инструмента за раз,
The expansion
мы
of mind
достигаем
is
его гораздо
based on the
быстрее.
amount of vital energy.
Но
The
это еще не все.
accumulation of vital
Видите,
energy is based on purity of
если же
physical
мы
body.
еще подключаем
All is
энергию,
connected.
энергетические
A sound
практики,
spirit in a
тогда
sound
они
body.
форсируются.
Let's go
Когда они
back
еще
again
быстрее
to
начинают нас
immortality,
воспринимать вибрации.
the immortality of
Сверху вниз
physical
быстрее,
body.
из внешнего вовнутрь, и еще из центра, из структуры жаревого тела, становясь энергетическим силовиком.
It
Расширение
is the
сознания
path of
опирается на объем
Taoism,
жизненной энергии,
Taoist alchemy.
накопление жизненной
When they
энергии
nurture the
опирается на
immortal
чистоту физического
fetus,
тела.
physical body is
Все
disrupted.
взаимосвязано, и набор
They
разнообразных
just
тел
develop
должен
energy component
одно
by destroying
влияет на
physical
другое.
body.
И еще раз
But there is better way
вернемся
of
к
raising
бессмертности.
body vibrations,
Вот
atomic
наша картинка для
particles.
бессмертия.
Every single atom of our body is concentrated powerful energy, very high vibrations.
Бессмертие физического
No
тела.
immortal fetus
Это
can
обычно
compete with
хаос,
soulful
удовольствие,
matter.
алхимия, когда они
It is
взращивают
pure
себя
art.
зародыша,
That's
так
all
сказать,
for
потеряв
today.
физику. Да, очень просто
It is the essence
взрастить
of mind
энергетическую силу
evolution
составляющую
harmony. Everything is
себе.
connected,
То есть себя
one
не
is
вижу,
based on
установить
another.
силу имени либо нет.
Now I can discuss your questions.
И теперь абсолютно любые вопросы по теме, не по теме.
Dmitry,
Пообщаемся.
is cosmic insight based on
Здорово.
concentration of
Так,
breathing and
первый вопрос
energy?
уже увидел, отлично. Дима,
Cosmic insight is a system
космическое
developing
озарение основано
consciousness,
как раз на
breathing,
концентрации
energy,
дыхания и
and all
энергии.
the intermediate
Космическое
bodies at the
озарение
same
– это
time.
система, которая
It is an ancient
развивает
system which
и
was
сознание, и
founded in
дыхание, и
earlier
энергию, и
incarnations.
промежуточные тела
A
одновременно.
lot of my
Это
experience
система
was put in this system, experience
древних,
of my previous and
которая
next
формировалась
incarnations.
не только
It
это
was
воплощение.
formed long
К
ago.
этому было
This
приложено
system
много
raises
факторов моего
vibrations
«я»,
of body,
как и
soul,
мои «я»
and
будущего, так
spirit.
и мои «я» прошлого, и много-много других
Dmitry,
фракталов.
do you keep up to finish your book?
Она формировалась
I'm
давно.
going to finish the book
Да,
before
она
my
как раз понимает
retreat,
вибрации
but it
тела,
will be
вибрации
released
духа,
after a month
вибрации
of my
души.
absence. It has to
Концентрация,
be edited
энергия
and
и дыхание.
produced. I have
Основное
enough
это.
time to pass
Основное
the
совершенно правильно.
basics.
Дима, ты успеваешь дополнять книгу? Да. Скажу сразу, перед тем, как я уйду в ретрит,
What
книга
effective
будет
techniques
готовая.
you can
Но она выйдет,
propose?
когда меня уже
Our
не будет
5
где-то через
organs of
месяц
senses,
моего
eyes,
отсутствия. Ее я
ears,
отредактирую и
tongue,
выпустить.
nose, skin.
Основную
Any of
суть я
these
успею
organs of senses
передать.
allow our consciousness to get
Какие
experience
эффекты
from
медленной
the outer
концентрации
world.
есть,
It personal.
предложено, пожалуйста.
Kinesthetics are
Наши
more
пяти органов
likely to
чувств.
concentrate on
Зрение,
body's
слух,
sensations.
запах, так далее, и тактильные ощущения.
Visuals are better at concentrating on candle flame or dot on the wall.
Любое
Audials
направление
achieve better
внимания и
results
укоренения
working with
в нем, это
sounds.
начинается концентрация. Практик довольно много.
Focusing and fixing attention is concentration anyway.
Зрительных,
There are a lot of
тактильных, либо на
ways.
слух есть несколько
All the
уровней.
ways have
Ну, к
multiple
примеру,
levels.
тактильные.
Concerning
Поначалу человеку
kinesthetics,
хочется тактильно
in
ощущать
the
кончики
beginning,
больших пальцев.
person learns
Если
to
у него это
feel
получается
tips of the
удержать
thumbs.
ощущение
Then
непоколебимо,
he passes to
непрерывно на
full
протяжении
body
2 минут,
haptics.
он переходит на
The
тактильные
goal is to
ощущения своего
perceive the
тела.
whole body. If we can hold the attention from toes to head for 2 minutes, we start to feel our own field and pass to the third level of concentration, feeling the field.
Мы начинаем чувствовать поле вокруг себя.
When we focus on feeling the field around us, we proceed to intuitive presence. We observe not logically but intuitively.
Не так то, что сегодня логическое наблюдение за происходящим, логический наблюдатель, а именно
When we use visual concentration, we focus attention on inner energy. All practices are selected individually. The same practice can work for one and fail for another. In our system, when person achieves the second level of development, he is able to safely pass through powerful spiral energy. It is high energy like nuclear fusion. On the first level, student is not able to pass through energy. It's like passing 1000 volts through a light bulb. If it resists, it burns out. Certification is carried out to distinguish prepared ones from unprepared ones. You get individual practice of the third level. It will lead to change in eating behavior. The higher our body vibrations, the less your body needs nutrition or DOES and need nutrition at all.
Спиральной структуры, спирально-мощной эволюции. Готов дальше. Индивидуальные практики.
Raising the vibrations of each atom body rejects physical nutrition and consequently switches to prana eating. and prana displaces food. But do not refuse food all at once. If you haven't switched, starvation is just stressing your physical body.
Такой вот стрессовый промежуток времени в виде голодания для физического тела.
Is soul our mind and feelings? No. Our subtle bodies, ethereal body and higher are classified as material bodies. Our soul is a prism, flow of consciousness, source of high vibrations. Soul shells lays around. All subtle bodies are shells covering our soul. Soul is initial, it gets through all shells and subtle bodies. Soul is sound and bodies are shapes coming out of sound movement. We can explain soul as physical process. You can feel it on the second level. You need to meditate deeply. It's hard to express in words. Words are false. I can recall Fyodor Tyutchev's poem on this subject. How can a hard expression find? How should another know your mind? Will he discern what quickens you? A thought once uttered is untrue. Nothing is more genuine and precious than your own experience. Logic is also necessary as false logic leads to wrong practice. What do you think about Reiki? I have positive attitude to it. Some people need it. The top is when we can teach person to develop on his own. Any disease, any energy stagnation is caused by lifestyle, thoughts, reactions of the mind, actions. If you help person to get rid of this training program, he will not pass the trial on his own. He'll go back to its start. The disease will return like boomerang, and it'll strike even harder. So, no matter how persistently you help, that person has to work on it on his own. Existence is autonomy and independence. We have to be able to improve ourselves. This process can be boosted with some skills and external energy sources, but it's important not to loop on this stage and not to lose your independence. Embrace what comes to you and don't reject what goes away from you, and you will go to the top as soon as possible.
Поэтому лечи, не лечи, наполняй энергией, не наполняй энергией.
When will be the certification to the second level in Moscow? Around the end of April. At the moment I am Ukraine, Kiev. I'm going to arrive in the beginning of April and to determine location then. During certification to the second level, can I perform anuloma-viloma without clamping my nostrils alternately, with both nostrils at the same time? You can use both nostrils during certification exam, but you should clamp both nostrils while holding your breath. I rely on the testimony of two parameters, outer and inner. I synchronize with your heartbeat and proceed visual evaluation, and then I summarize the two rates. When the soul hurts, what hurts actually? Soul is our nature. It can hurt. When high vibrations of soul pass through subtle bodies and stumble upon resistance, these areas signal. Actually, our subtle bodies, mental, astral, ethereal bodies hurt because of vibrations of our souls. Echo of the soul pierces all bodies. If there is resistance, it hurts. Your deficiencies are manifested. Soul is perfect. It can hurt. How to learn to keep your weight stable on scarce food. We lose weight when our bodies are acidified, when there isn't enough purity, I mean
Я считываю
alkalinity.
показания по
We
двум
also
параметрам.
lose
Первое
weight when our endocrine glands don't
внешнее,
operate at
и
full
второе внутреннее.
capacity.
Внутреннее это я
Our
сонастраиваюсь с
goal is to
вашим ритмом
make the
сердцебиения,
endocrine
а
glands
второе
work,
визуально.
clean the
И
organs and
складываю
raise
два
the pH
показателя.
level. In that
Когда
case,
болит
weight
душа,
loss won't be excessive.
что же болит
Hi,
всегда?
that Misha.
Душа это наша природа, естество. Она
You must have
совершенна, она не
already
болит.
reached
Но источая
enlightenment during
вибрации,
years of
источая высокие
wanderings.
вибрации, эти вибрации
When do
проходят по
classes
телам,
start in April?
и где
The
встречают
first weekend
сопротивление,
in
те и
April.
дают сигналы.
I'll
Болят по
send
сути
you link after
промежуточные
the
тела.
conference.
Ментальное, психическое, эфирное, от вибраций души.
Is there any sense in breathing in the
души
supine position?
Порождает,
Yes, there is.
пронизывает все тела.
Performing asanas is just the
Встречает
primary
сопротивление.
stage.
И вот именно
The higher
недостатки
level you
начинают
have,
давать
the
знать.
less vanity.
Совершенство не
If
болеет,
you're
болеет
high
только
level,
причины.
the body posture DOES and matter, your mind is clear, breathing is stable, thought leads to desire, desire leads to
Мы
action.
теряем вес.
What
Мы
keeps
теряем
our
вес, когда
attention grows
у нас
stronger.
первое закисленное тело,
Thought
либо
kept
еще
in our
недостаточно
mind
чисто
long enough
пищевочности.
turns into feeling.
Второе показатель, когда наши органы внутренней секреции и эндокринные органы еще активно не работают. То
Feeling
есть на
which
100%
keeps
не
our
работают.
attention
Вот
turns
тогда
into
тело
psyche.
теряется.
From the
Цель
very first
запустить наши
embodiment,
железы,
we generate chains
очистить
of
органы
thoughts
и поднять
creating
свой
veils
pH.
on our
Тогда никакой
souls.
чрезмерной потери
As
веса
the light of soul DOES and pass freely and stumbles upon your
А,
thoughts,
Миша,
patterns,
привет, давно тебя
labels,
не видел.
projections of expectations,
Просветился уже на
psychic
этих горах.
training
Здравствуй,
programs.
наверное.
We gain experience by
Привет,
shooting at
слушай,
our feet.
спросить
We
тебя
become
хотел,
sick,
когда в
but
апреле
it's not
занятия
our soul
начинаются.
that hurts.
Ладно, Миш, я тебе потом напишу вопрос.
If our
В
mind is
в
clear,
апреле
energy
первые выходные.
stagnation in subtle bodies just melt. If your subtle bodies are clear, physical
Я тебе
body is
после
purified,
конференции скину
too.
ссылку. Так, и последний вопрос из контакта.
We achieve power of consciousness through concentration by stopping inner discourse.
Да,
When the
можно.
inner discourse is shut down, it
Практики
starts to
асаны,
scour all
положение тел,
levels
это
of
только первичный этап.
consciousness.
Высшее мастерство.
Concentration is
Чем
direct
выше
way
уровень,
to
тем
get
меньше
rid of any
телодвижений.
cause of the
На высоких
disease.
уровнях нам без разницы, в каком
However,
положении мы
this
находимся.
method
Наше
DOES
сознание
and fit all.
чистое,
You
дыхание
need to have
стабильное,
high
а
level of
энергию
energy
чувствуем.
to work
Тогда
directly
нам
with
нет разницы, в каком
consciousness.
положении
Otherwise, your
находиться.
practice
Хоть
is
одна нога
interrupted by
вверх, другая
thoughts
вниз,
and becomes
стоим либо на
ineffective.
руках. Это я уже так утрирую. Спасибо за книгу. Благодарю во благо.
The amount of energy bases on body purity. As Bodhidharma said, concentration is the fastest way to get rid of causes of the disease. Disease is like branches of the tree, concentration is like root, and we work all possible causes out at the root. On psychic level, or mental, or energy, or mind, direct path of self-development requires stable roots.
И мы на корню начинаем прорабатывать все причины на психическом, на умственном, на энергетическом.
Many traditions discuss the reason he was referring to, and came to the conclusion. Many Zen traditions consider body useless, dirty bag, and meditation powerful, but that not true.
И вот пришли к тому, что во многих чанских традициях,
A sound spirit in a sound body. We have to materialize our structure. By saying stable roots, he was meaning the amount of vital energy, purity of body and soul. If our roots are stable, our concentration helps us to evolve. Concentration is the only way to get rid of disease. The rest is temporary.
Занимаясь концентрацией, мы прорабатываем все недуги, все причины всех заболеваний на любых уровнях. Все остальное это косвенные избавления индивидуальных причин.
I feel sorry for myself. Feel sorry for my life. Acton, please tell us, what did you feel? What happened? I don't know what happened. At some point I realized, if I started my life all over again, I treat my body differently. A depressive self-pity. I usually don't cry, but now a tear glistened on my eyelashes. It's hard to explain. It's not feeling hot or cold somewhere, it's a more complete picture, like something expands inside of my body. Can you say that you had a moment of consciousness or enlightenment? No, no. It's a little bit different. Dmitry would say, it like some spectrum extended. I am skeptical of such miracles, but I really feel that my spectrum of perception is expanding. My root ego is about to fail. I felt that there is something that concerns me, but it's beyond intellect. I am not the intellect. I saw myself without ego. For some reason I felt self-pity. I felt sorry for my body, for the body's cells, which have suffered from my poor lifestyle and which are now lost in an acidic medium. Dmitry's hands were emitting different streams. Here I felt much hotter. Right side is significantly hotter? Yes, here it was much hotter. Are you sure you felt it? Yes, I can say that.
Правая горячее существенно, да?
Он меня вот здесь правой рукой держал, да?
Когда будет рекламный ролик? То есть это вы ощутили заметно, да?
Вот он говорит, что много сил уходит у него, он не может на многих.
Today I'm going to sum up maintaining full independence and firm autonomy on the path of self-development. The White Lotus Path, self-improvement of balanced combination of outside and inner worlds. Family and self-development. An epilogue, after which I'm going to give you link to my summing up video. So let the journey start. What can you see on this picture? Our magnetic field is constantly interacting with energy flows rising from Earth's center and descending from space. Each flow has its own characteristics. Cosmic downward flow is constantly moving top down. It is characterized by energy content. The ascending flow from Earth's center cleans, transforms, and raises vibrations. All systems are based on contact with those ascending and descending flows. Development of consciousness and energy, physical and spiritual development, all of them are based on the two flows and electromagnetic field. Systems like Qigong use cosmic flow for energy development. Various esoteric and shamanic practices mainly use the ascending flow from Earth. Channeling does it, too. Some systems use both flows, like Nigalong, branch of Qigong, meditation practices like Chan and Zen Buddhism, cricket concentration method. In fact, these systems don't use none of the flows, they use zero source. Ascending and descending flows have fractal structure originating from point of singularity inside our nature. What we see around us is reflected light emanated by us. The whole universe is our spirit and soul reflected. 0 point is located inside us. It is source and superconscience. It is not chakras. 0 point is the axis of our superconscious. It is the 0 point that projects ascending and descending flows. It is the source of power. All systems and practices are dedicated to spiritual development and activating the core. This core has different designations in various traditions. Taoism calls it Tao, science calls it point of singularity. It is not heart center or solar plexus. Our leg and arm channels, meridians, Danshan's development is based on ascending and descending flows, but our source of power takes its might from the existence itself. It is our inner power. It is located inside us. Source of power or 0 point is a bridge between internal and external dimensions.
Это не сердечный центр, это не солнечное сплетение. Это вот как 70 дух радуги в совокупности дают белый цвет.
Prenatal and postnatal energy. Prenatal energy is the energy that we use to develop before our embodiment. Postnatal energy is the energy that we develop during the incarnation, leaning on ascending and descending flows. The ultimate goal is to merge these two flows. When two flows merge, very powerful forces of the universe are initiated. Due to the flows of external energy, our inner flow, our 0 point can be launched. If person manages to activate his source of power, he becomes energy of the universe. He needs neither food, nor water, nor sleep anymore. All his physical structure and subtle bodies will be impregnated with high vibration spiritual energy. It is like taking two wires, plus and minus. When you connect them, there is an electrical discharge between them. The same thing is our 0 point. When inner and external energy merge, powerful transcendent flow is activated, and so is the whole energy structure.
Вселенские силы. Вот благодаря потокам внешних энергий запускается внутренний. Вот это вот пренатальная нулевая точка. И если человеку удастся зажечь родник силы, вот эту вот мощь в процессе энергообеспечения.
This point starts to work after particular exercises or enables automatically when person reaches true enlightenment of superconscious. Person on various levels of development can have different qualities. Multivariate structures we are, composed of many bodies, soul and mind, but it can be expressed in 3 bases I speak about every day: body, soul and spirit.
Трансцендентный, духовный, и загорается вся энергетическая наша структура. Об этом чуть далее, позднее. Эта точка также активируется либо специальными энергетическими практиками, либо она автоматически активируется, когда человек достигает просветления, истинного просветления, сверхсознания. И вот человек по мере развития,
during the development, we change. Middle or second level, person becomes ideal conductor of ascending and descending vital energy, but the inner source of prenatal energy is not launched yet. We are ideal conductors without resisting the passing energies. We are in harmony with existence, but we still don't promote active growth of energy. We are, like, neutral. We are constantly vibrating with existence. We either amplify energies passing through us, or lower them, or we are neutral. The first level is resistance. I compare these beings to cancer cells of cosmic
не вызывая
organism.
сопротивления проходящим энергиям, находимся в гармонии с бытием, но и не способствуем активному пока еще росту. Просто нейтралы, я их так называю нейтралы. На входе восходящие и нисходящие потоки, если брать терминологию электрическую, я обычно так сравниваю, мне так удобно. Если взять, допустим, оперировать этой терминологией, на входе
Universe,
восходящие и
like any
нисходящие потоки, у нас
biological
заходит
system,
1100
tries to
вольт,
get rid of
внутри будет
cancer
точно так же 100
cells.
вольт. Где
So,
сопротивление
body
такого
resisting energy
то есть
flow
чистейшее
subjects to
проводимое.
diseases. The
Более низкий
immunity of
уровень —
existence
это первый
treats it
уровень
like cancer
сопротивления.
cell of
То
its
есть когда
body.
человек оказывает
The
сопротивление
third and the
проходящим энергиям.
top
На
level is
входе на
powerful
будет 100 вольт.
person, holy
Вот
person.
шлаки, блоки, застои
Body
энергии. Тело
DOESN
проходит
resist
через
passing energies all the
10,
way, but
часть
also
потерь.
amplifies
Все
them.
понижающий трансформатор.
When you develop all your
Мы
bodies to light
постоянно
body,
делаем
you
ритмическим
become
подъемом.
step-up transformer.
И вот либо усиливаем, либо нейтрально, либо замедляем. Вот это вот
The
первый
same
уровень
example, 100-volt
сопротивления.
input,
Я их сравниваю
1000-volt
обычно
output. We actively contribute to the development of
как ракова клетка
existence.
космического организма.
Here are the
Точно
three
так же,
main
как любая
properties:
система,
resistor,
развивая
conductor,
биологические,
amplifier.
в которой присутствует регенерация, обмен веществ. Она во всех, так сказать, присутствует структурах. Точно так же, как в нашем теле. Когда в нашем теле появляется больная клетка, наша иммунная система, регенерация избавляется от нее. И точно так же человек, если он сопротивление проходящим, восходящим энергиям, его тело подвержено болезни. То есть структура бытия воспринимает его как раковая клетка своего тела.
The White Lotus
И
Path.
следующий высший уровень —
Inner and
это
external worlds in harmony like
силовик,
hemispheres of the brain.
световик,
We
святой,
need
когда мы
hemispheres of the
просто
brain to be
не оказываем
harmonized.
сопротивления проходящим
The left
энергиям,
one is responsible for
а
logic,
когда мы их даже
the right
усиливаем,
one
то
is
есть
responsible
стали
for
повышающим
feelings.
трансформатором,
It
силовиком,
is easier to
в
reach
разных
enlightenment
инстанциях
by
всего человеческого
harmonizing brain
тела,
hemispheres.
и на всех уровнях
Due to
тела
it, the
света.
pineal gland
То
crystallizes.
есть,
It is
если брать
located between the sixth
электрический
and the
язык,
seventh
на
level
входе
of
100 вольт, а
subconscious.
на выходе мы уже отдаем 1000 вольт. То есть мы не просто
What
идеальный
you see
проводник,
outside
мы
is
еще и
projection of our
повышаем
inner world.
трансформатор,
I
повышающий,
mean,
еще и
purity of
способствуем
our
активно,
body
точно
and
способствуем
soul and
развитию
spirit
бытия.
in total defines the
Вот,
united
в
level of
принципе, три
vibration
основных
projecting outwards.
свойства.
Like thoughts, like
Сопротивление,
desires,
проводник,
like desires,
силовик,
like our
повышающий
feelings and
трансформатор.
emanations,
Сейчас
like
будет сильно
emanations,
раскрываться.
like
Первый уровень
regain.
как раз
External
внешний
world is
импульс,
out inner purity or
луч
contamination
белого
reflected.
лотоса, гармония
Our
плюс
inner
силовик.
training programs. There is
Точно
no
так же, как и
difference
наши
between
полушария мозга,
external and internal.
цель не подавить одно над другим, чтобы внутри.
When we
Цель
go to
взрастить
the
разум, чтобы
outside
наши
world, we
полушария
are
мозга были
moving
в
away
гармонии.
from the inner
Левое
world.
отвечает за логику, правое
When
за
we pay
чувство,
attention to the
центрирование
inner
всего, левое
world,
правое
we
полушарие
are
мозга.
moving away from the
Легче
outside
постичь
world.
просветление. Благодаря гармонизации полушария мозга идет кристаллизация шаковидной железы, гипофиза, гипоталамуса и эпифиза, королевской чакры. Но это не родничок. Это
The main thing is harmony of the internal and external, White Lotus. White Lotus grows in dirty swamp but keeps its purity. We are the same thing. We have to be so pure that wherever we are nothing can influence us, defile us. We have to avoid being nothing but response to external stimuli. This is the way to transform external world with our inner state. We identify ourselves with an external object only when we are living in duality.
Наши внутренние тренажеры. И вот нет никакой разницы между внутренним и внешним. Когда мы
The only
укореняемся во
separation
внешний
between
мир,
inner and
человек
external
живет
world is our
развивается.
mind.
Когда
Beyond the
интересует
mind,
внешний мир,
in
то есть
transcendence and
укореняясь во
intuitive
внутреннем, мы
perception,
удаляемся от
external and inner world
внешнего. И
merge.
наоборот,
We are not in the
укореняясь во
universe,
внешнем,
we
мы
are not
удаляемся
inside our
вовнутрь.
bodies.
От внутрь
Both
гармония.
universe and
Ровный
our
вектор,
bodies are inside
гармония
us,
внешнего и
and both
внутреннего.
inner and external
Белый
worlds
лотос.
are inside us. There
Белый
is
лотос
no
растет
difference
грязным
between
болотом,
object
распространяясь
of
в обществах.
observation and
Точно так же
observer,
и человек.
only mind
Мы
is that
должны быть настолько
distinguishes it.
чисты, что где бы мы ни находились, нас ничто не должно повлиять, осквернить, и мы не должны существовать как реакция на внешние раздражители.
When we go
Тем
to the
самым
outside
трансформировать
world,
внешнее своим внутренним состоянием. Между внешним и внутренним миром нет никакой разницы. Только за пеленой ума в дуальности
When we go to the outside world, we are moving away from the inner world, and vice versa. When we pay attention to the inner world, we are moving away from the outside world. The supreme path is the middle way, spiritual growth and forming the space around.
Мы находимся не во Вселенной, и мы находимся внутри тела. И Вселенная, и наше тело находятся внутри нас. Точно так же, как и внутренний и внешний мир, они оба находятся внутри нас. Нет никакого тождественного различия между объектом наблюдения.
You can see mirrors and reflections on the picture.
Есть только ум,
All
который
our life
осветили.
circumstances are
Поэтому,
reflections of our
укореняясь во внешнем, мы
vibrations,
удаляемся от внутреннего.
either inner fears
Укореняясь во
or
внутреннем,
love.
мы удаляемся
There
от
is a saying that
внешнего.
evil only exists and emerges in people's hearts. That's why it is so important to love and to learn to love. Some people don't know how to enter this state. Love is one of the tools to raise vibrations as well as concentration and focused
Все наши
attention.
жизненные обстоятельства — это зеркало наших вибраций, внутренних страхов либо любви. Вот мне нравится такое еще выражение: зло существует только в сердцах человека, из него же оно и проявляется. Вот почему так важно любить. И тем более
Our
учиться
attention
любить
is treasure of our
определенных,
spirit.
любить и
Vibrations are
находиться в
what
этом
gives depth
состоянии.
to this feeling. You
Любовь —
must
это
love
есть
our
один из
neighbors,
инструментов
but
повышения
especially
вибраций, когда
those who
концентрация на
oppose
определенном
us.
внимании.
We
Сокровище
see
духа
our strong points in
есть
our
в
friends
нашем
and our
внимании.
weaknesses in
Именно
our
вибрации
enemies.
проявляют
If you
качество и
want to
глубину
understand a
этому чувству.
situation,
Любить
analyze
тех,
our
кто рядом с
thoughts
нами,
and
в
desires,
особенности тех, кто
access the
против нас.
hidden. If there is a
В
reaction
своих
to an
друзьях,
external
как я уже говорил, мы видим
stimulus,
своих
gaze inwards and
своих
learn why
преимуществ,
you
свои наработки,
encountered
а
the
в своих врагах
situation.
мы видим свои недостатки. Все перед нашим лицом.
You don't
Если
have to
хотим
treat your
понять
fears like
ситуацию,
danger.
проанализировать свои
The
мысли,
external world,
желания,
both
что
in
себе мы
explicit
подавляем,
form and in other
что
dimensions,
посмотреть,
is
если
either
посмотреть реакция
manifestation
на
of our
какой-то
love
раздражитель,
or our
просто взор
fears.
внутрь себя,
What
это всего лишь
originates from
проявление
us
либо нашей
returns to
любви, либо
us.
наших страхов.
If we encounter critical
Все,
situations,
что мы
and something
получаем,
depresses
что мы не
us,
получаем,
and we don't like it,
вот
we
мы
start to
природа
fight it.
внутреннего и
We are
внешнего.
always fighting
Если мы
ourselves.
сталкиваемся
As a
с
start,
критическими
we
ситуациями,
have to
что-то нас
understand the
подавляет,
situation,
и нам не
why we need
нравится,
it.
мы боремся с этим, мы боремся сами с собой. Мы должны
Looking
смотреть на
glass is not
ситуацию,
to
почему
blame
же
if
она
your
пришла
own
так.
face is plain.
Нечего ругаться на зеркало, если лицом, так сказать, не вышел. И вот следующая картинка о внешнем. Перед ней, вот я еще такую всем известную
The next famous picture is by Mark Miller. There is brain cell on the left and universe on the right.
С одной стороны,
The pictures are almost
изображена клетка
identical.
мозга.
External world is
С
our
другой
inner
стороны,
light
изображена
reflected.
Вселенная. То есть
We
картинки
move on to
практически
inner and outer.
одинаковые.
Many
Нейроны
spiritual
головного
seekers
мозга
leave the
проецируют
society for their
всю
practice,
картинку, которая
but
нас
in fact
окружает,
they
весь
avoid
внешний мир,
lessons they have to
выражение
study.
нашего внутреннего света. Исследуем дальше. Внешнее и внутреннее.
One Tibetan master was asked, "Where can I find the mightiest master?"
В Тибете
The master answered, "In the city." Why?
учитель
The master answered, "If you move our monk to the city, he will immediately succumb to temptations. He has no stamina.
в городе.
You live in the society and you are immune. No temptation can threaten you. You will reach the top of your mountain much faster than monks surrounding me.
Вы же живете в социуме, у вас уже иммунитет
You shouldn't try to
вам
escape
только
external
стоит
stimuli,
и вы
your
понимаете,
training
что вы гораздо
programs.
быстрее, чем
You
те,
have to
которые
harmoniously combine developing life in the society and cultivating your spirituality at the same time.
стоит убегать от внешнего.
Everything we
Гармонизировать
face is
опыт
connected with
и
us.
социум.
We can try to run away, but we will run away from ourselves. Otherwise, we can overcome it with dignity and raise faster and higher.
Является уже причинно-следственной связью с нами связана. Мы можем убежать, но убежим от своего тренажера, от себя самого, либо с достоинством исправить, преодолеть, тем самым скакануть гораздо выше и быстрее. И вот
I
здесь я
prepared a
нарисовал
picture
несколько
for
уровней
you.
сфер.
There are several spheres on it. Development goes from core to outside.
Идет из центра вовне.
When a baby is born, he plays his toys and forms the outer space playing.
Играем в игру,
Then we grow up. We start our relationships, friendship, love. We form our spaces around us on that level. Then we start families. We harmonize spaces in our families. Then we start taking care of the situation in the city, in the country. We start considering global matters. When a person is growing spiritually, this ambition is the ambition of drop to become an ocean. Many people grow without paying attention to the outer sphere, without paying attention that the ocean consists of countless drops. When we help others, we help ourselves, as there are nobody here except our own reflections. The further person grows, the more he forms his own space on earth. Then comes the stage of the universal evolution and he starts to harmonize space of the universe.
Как я уже приводил пример в одном из роликов в конце сегодняшнего материала, я дам ссылку на один ролик, где я включаю, подвожу итог.
If we don't learn to form space around us, if we run away from training programs, how can we create our universe? Otherwise we are just object construction of other structures of existence. Our goal is to merge development of inner and outer worlds. Inner world raises our vibrations and forms events that surround us. Due to the external world, we learn to create and harmonize space. One who runs away from society is blind, and blind is one who runs away from spirituality. Harmony is the goal. Even when disharmonious incidents occur abroad, if we see it or hear it, this information relates to us. Our subconscious synchronizes events so that we get it. That means that we activated this training program, it manifested itself through us, and everything that we hear or see around us is foremost information for us. Someone says he has no interest in current events, the other says he beyond politics. If you don't react to your training program, you can become immune to external stimuli and you won't achieve inner harmony.
И поэтому слеп тот человек, который убегает от социума. Точно так же слеп тот человек, который убегает.
We aim to complete all the lessons, to look inside ourselves, to determine what is out of balance in our structure. Where there was an imbalance between body, soul, subconscious, if you correct your inner world, the external situation may change. I.e. just recalled a story about a doctor. He treated his patients remotely, he would never meet them. He sat in his office and he was given the diagnosis. He looked at the picture of patient and said, "I love you, I thank you." He expressed love. Due to such inner work, all his patients recovered within 1 month. Our inner world can influence outer world. We don't aim extremes. We need harmony of inner and external worlds.
Именно этими внешними ситуациями взглянуть внутрь себя. Что же у нас, какой дискомфорт происходит внутри нашей структуры? Где произошел дисбаланс между телом, где произошел...
We move on to the next topic. Family. Harmonious development within family. Spiritual evolution of couple. It's no secret that many people acquired a transcendent experience of existence neither in churches, nor in mountains, nor outdoors, but in relationship with a loved one. Spiral hot energies and managing them allow to go beyond our physical body, to dissolve in another, and thereby raise both your own and your significant other vibrations. Downward and upward flows. Sky and earth are always in sexual connection, balancing and harmonizing each other. People are the same. When we connect to each other, we are two opposites, we start to harmonize each other. Inner nuclear energy is born. The energy in fact is the same, but the vibration frequency differs. Low level of vibration is linear vital
Была
energy.
одна тема.
Higher level of vibration is spiral energy.
Семья. Сначала отношения, потом семья, и вот на нем мы остановимся. Вот на этом вот кружке. Гармония.
The highest level is spiritual energy, transcendental energy.
Взаимодействие.
Sexual energy is spiral energy as well as soul energy.
Для большинства не
When they
является
begin to manifest themselves, person experiences a particular state.
преимущество.
Out body indicates what is happening inside us. If person experiences pain, that means that processes are going in the wrong direction.
Занятия.
If we experience pleasant feelings, that means that development is proceeding.
Позволяет нам перейти на
And much like in pair, when person is in copulation, he feels high vibrational energy flows, and pleasant feelings indicate that it is nuclear spiral energy. Feelings we experience are harmonious and develop us. As our ancestors said, couple unites to help each other, to grow spiritually. Life is based on family. When couple realizes it, happiness comes in the family. Family is school of humanity. Family has to contribute to the constant growth of relations, love, wisdom, and have the effect of grace on the external world.
Энергия по сути одна, но отличается друг от друга по частоте вибраций. И низкий уровень вибрации энергии – это линейная энергия, жизненная энергия. Далее более высокий вибрационный уровень энергетический.
100 years ago, Russian writer Rosanov, I referred to him in my book, spoke of the holy sacrament of family. He wrote that time will pass and people will stop trying to demonstrate certain standards of living and will start living, rejoicing, finding happiness around, in families, beneath friends. Many ancient doctrines put family issues on the first place. As Confucius said, family is the best way of self-improvement and realization. And moreover, he considered family source of all virtues. Only one who has harmonious family can govern the state. Person who learned to form space in his family can also form more complex space. If person has discord in his family, he will have the same discord if he is given higher space to harmonize, I mean the state. Family is our main and the most intense training program to connect and be harmonious with each other.
Наши предки, очень качественное выражение. Пара создается для
Family relationships have many aspects, but the main aspect is the relationship between man and woman. If person is full of love and learns to control his internal clear energies, his possibilities become infinite. When two people, man and woman, are capable to control sexual energies, they unite and arouse the great power, activating practically all of our structure. Then couple can experience transformation together and realize in light, and it will a shared way within one embodiment. Method that was deleted from many traditions. If man can control thermonuclear energies, he loses an enormous amount of energy during ejaculation. When he learns to control it, it is big and powerful step towards self-improvement. There is a common misconception, especially among religious and the spiritual people, that family prevents spiritual development. They keep saying about saving semen to avoid vital energy loss. But when two lovers unite, they acquire integrity. High vibrational sexual energy untwists. When we master this hot spiral energy and subdue it, we can grow much faster. The point is that people develop much faster and with more harmony within a couple. Nature created man and woman not to scatter, but to live in harmony. I have no purpose to talk about controlling sexual energies, so today I won.
То пробуждаются великие энергии, которые зажигают практически все нашу структуру.
Autonomy. Torus structure, toroidal structure. Our inner and external space. On the picture, you can see structure that will help us to understand different energy levels of subconscious. Now we are going to analyze torus autonomous structure. Torus is used for life at every level. It is self-adjusting, self-governing, self-sustaining structure. This self-adjusting structure can be found everywhere, fruits, berries, at the atomic level. The same torus structure can be observed at the level of human beings, galaxies, the universe, everywhere. Our goal is to make this structure work autonomously. Nikola Tesla and other scientists tried to design perpetual mobile, an endless source of energy from the zero point of singularity, according to the principle of torus. People are the same. In the beginning of our conversation, we spoke about the source of power.
Владение сексуальными энергиями, я не буду укореняться вглубь всеми техническими процессами.
And here Taurus, which is the source, the reflection of light from out source of power. It is located inside us. The quality of Taurus depends on the quality of our source of power, of our zero point. And the quality of our Taurus influences our autonomy. When Taurus is activated, powerful inner nuclear energy transforms your personality, turns all your structure into light according to the principle of fractal. Universe creates and develops these toroidal structures on each level.
На уровне атома, вот я сверху там нарисовал, на уровне человека такая же структура Тора, на уровне галактики, на уровне Вселенной, везде является структура Тора. И вот цель запустить в автономность эту структуру.
All saints seek immortality of body and soul. First level of immortality is when only physical body is immortal. The second level is when mind is enlightened. The third level is when mind is enlightened and physical body is immortal. The fourth level is when mind, physical body and soul are enlightened. In this condition the body is unaffected by physical processes, such as cold, heat, fire, water, time, space. Everything is harmonized, everything is under your control. You are the universe itself, multidimensional existence. 4 levels of human development. The first level is enlightenment, the second level is creation, the third level is the great transition body of light, the fourth level is phenomenon or creative cosmic insight. That's why my system is called this way. By saying cosmos I mean inner and external cosmos, the harmony of united cosmos.
Первое, повторюсь, первый уровень бессмертия – это когда бессмертно только физическое тело. Второе, когда человек достигает просветления сознания. Третье, когда мы достигли одновременно и просветления сознания, и наше тело бессмертное. И четвертый уровень – это тело света, когда мы достигли просветления всех 3 фундаментов. Просветление тела, просветление души и просветление сознания. В этом состоянии они подвержены физическим процессам, холод, огонь, вода.
On the first level, enlightenment, person achieves intuitive unity of conscious with superconscience. He is pure not only on the level of conscious but also on the level of superconscience, which is complete harmony. Then, when person gains power through attention and concentration, he reaches the second level, creation, which means he is capable to reveal his thought forms besides being deeply intuitive observer. As he approaches clarity of the superconscious, person acquires several characteristics. The first characteristic is clarity followed by wisdom, which is complete knowledge of the existence beyond time and space. After this stage, if person takes root in the power of his attention, he obtains the power of universe.
На уровне сверхсознания, полная гармония, воссоединение, трансцендентный опыт. Это вот первый уровень.
The third level is the great transition, when person is transformed to a body of light, merges completely with the entire universe, not only in the vector of one plot, but in all projections, in total diversity. The fourth level is creative cosmic insight, when we are the core of the existence and create our universes by spiritualizing matter, our physical body. Our body is thickly concentrated energy.
Человек приобретает несколько свойств. Первое свойство – ясность, вслед за которой приходит мудрость, то есть полное знание всего бытия вне времени.
When person loses his physical body, he loses his power. Only power of spirit and soul is left. If we move to body of light, it is our launch pad for creating our own universe. Every cell of our body is our soul and we are its creator. Our goal is to spiritualize it and take with us. There was a ritual of coding in the ancient world, most countries still have it, to burn the dead. This ritual didn't appear by accident. This method allows spirit to carry along live atomic particles, as many as possible, when body is lost. In ancient Russia, there was a ritual of ascension to the genus.
Каждая клетка – это наша душа, а мы для нее творец. Вот цель ее одухотворить, взять с собой. Вот многие в древности.
If person didn't reach body of light and lost his physical body, it helped his soul to carry along as many atomic particles as possible. Being creators, according to the law of conscience, we have to carry them along and harmonize, not run away from them. We seek unity, body seeks soul, soul seeks spirit, spirit seeks source. Atomic particles of body seek soul. If person was spiritually advanced, they are impregnated with thickly concentrated fragrant energy, ambrosia amrita. When person moves to body of light, he carries along all living atomic particles and reveals the new universe and exists in it as the creator of his explicit universe, not only creates locations on the subtle plane.
Тело стремится к душе, душа стремится к духу, а дух стремится к источнику. И вот атомарные частицы души, а вот тело стремятся к душе.
Yesterday there were questions we going to discuss today.
Энергии, то есть пропитанная энергия, сгусто сконцентрированная, это амброзия. А сгусто сконцентрированная амброзия амрита, то есть благоухание. И вот когда человек переходит в тело света, он все живые атомарные частицы забирает с собой.
This is the path. The most substation level is the source, level where we are all relatives, I mean, our spirit is united. After that, comes separation of souls, then bodies, physical bodies. On the lower level we consider ourselves individuals. Here I am, and here is my neighbor, friend, enemy, etc. O higher level, harmony of souls emerges, and harmony of spirits emerges on the highest level where we are all one. If we examine our current situation from the highest level, we'll see one big self communicating to itself, trying to figure itself out through its fractal structures. So, the universe is expanding and developing. The highest level is spirit, existence, living informational structure beyond time and space. The first path from point 1 to point 2 is called materialization. Spirit begins to take shape of matter.
Ощупывать себя через свои фрактальные структуры. Тем самым Вселенная расширяется. Итак, вот самый верхний уровень, первый уровень, где мы все являемся родственниками. Дух, бытие.
Matter forms gradually. First subtle bodies appear, then bodies get thicker, until physical body emerges. Physical world is the most saturated dimension, the most saturated energy, core of the universe. Nothing is stronger than physical body, it the most powerful thing. Spirit, or informational structure, starts to materialize. First there is soul, sound, then the sound starts to acquire forms, becoming more saturated in each dimension. We have bodies that match vibrations of each dimensions. We are here and now on the second point of explicit space. Our higher self has formed the most powerful body, the physical body, and we have determined subtle bodies, and our goal is not to lose physical body, it is a step back to the subtle structure. First way is materialization. Second way is spiritualization of matter. We need to raise all bodies we form to the vibration of spirit.
Позади нас уже все тонкие тела уже есть. И наша цель не уйти обратно, потеряв физическое тело назад, вернуться в тонкую структуру. Как я вчера пример приводил, пошли в лес, загребаем.
The third way is moving to body of light, when out spirit resonates with body and soul at very high vibrations, and it emerges into light, into the rainbow structure. You can only transform into body of light from real space, I mean from physical body. There is no such opportunity on subtle planes. That's why even enlightened people have to form physical body although of a certain quality, if they lose it. During evolution process, person first creates resistance, then becomes conductor of energy, then becomes amplifier. If person loses his physical body and he used to be resistance in life, the level of his subconscious will determine the next embodiment. This is called karma, unconscious subconscious. If person has reached the second level, his next embodiment will be more harmonious in reality, but he won't choose where and when to incarnate, yet.
Его качество на дальнейшее причинно-следственное воплощение. Если человек был сопротивлением, тогда его уровень его подсознания определит следующее воплощение.
On the highest level, when person has already become amplifier of energies, has reached enlightenment, but has and become body of light and full awareness, he can choose where, when, with whom and in what role to incarnate, and he fully forms the causal relationship. In the end there is body of light. There are three foundations in harmony of holistic development: body, soul, mind. And there are three types of enlightenment: enlightenment of mind, enlightenment of soul, enlightenment of body, and the highest level is to merge the three types of enlightenment and achieve body of light.
Тело, душа и дух. И три просветления. Просветление сознания, просветление души и просветление тела. Вот высший уровень — это соединить три.
This is the main topic I wanted you to hear. I don't know if it is easy to understand. During one conference, experienced esoterics were surprised and confused. The subject of my today's speech was limited by duality. We use such concepts as higher and lower, concepts of embodiment, and time. There is another explanation of this structure beyond time and dualism. There are a number of vectors, descents and ascents, and they exist at the same time, but the vibrations differ. But we won't go that far, all in good time. The world is an outside, it is inside you. You are not inside your body is inside you.
Будем из этой структуры делать кашу в голове.